It is a very warm day in the state capital of the Lone Star State, Austin, but they're out by great numbers because it is the opening conference game in the Big 12 for the visitors from Kansas State and also for the locals here in Austin, the Texas Longhorns, young and old alike. They rehearse holding up their horns. You know, some games, particularly the one last year, are games that you simply do not forget. Upsets. They are the ones you remember most. Almost a year later, the images still seem fresh.
It's over. The Wildcats 45, Texas 42. Can you believe it?
This afternoon, Kansas State is hoping to recapture the magic that led to their greatest victory of last season. For the Longhorns, it's about revenge. Texas is primed for a run at the Big 12 title, and they have no intentions of letting the Wildcats get in their way. Big 12 North versus Big 12 South, next. Welcome to college football presented by Best Buy. Here at Memorial Stadium in Austin, it's the Kansas State Wildcats and the Texas Longhorns. We take a look at the other games involving Big 12 teams today. A couple of those underway. Baylor at Texas A&M. A&M leads in the fourth quarter. Oklahoma, Colorado. Oklahoma on top by 10. And look at the shocker going on in Lincoln. Iowa State up by 3. This game here, the Northwestern Tech and Sam Houston takes on Oklahoma State. 7:05 Eastern Time kickoff on that one this evening. Hi, everybody. Ron Franklin, along with Ed Cunningham, Jack Caruth, the third man on our crew. And we're going to be talking to him later down on the field out of the South Tunnel. Here come the Texas Longhorns. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Memorial Stadium here in Austin. You know, Ed, these two quarterbacks are really second-year guys that have a great deal of focus on them and also a lot of pressure. But let's start with Colt McCoy first. You know, coming from a tiny town up in north central Texas, and he really has identified himself as a leader and a winner.
And if you go back, Ron, to last year, he took over for Vince Young and was playing incredibly well. Texas was ranked number 4 in the country and positioning themselves to possibly get into a BCS national championship conversation when this injury to Colt McCoy against Kansas State, possibly a late hit. It was not called. McCoy came out. He struggled the rest of the year, spent the entire offseason rehabbing. Ron, there's a lot of talk about revenge, and you've got to think for Colt McCoy getting knocked out of that loss last year in Kansas State, revenge is on his mind as well.
I don't think there's any question about that. For those of you who have never seen Josh Freeman in person, you're in for a treat. First thing you're going to say, though, he's way too big for a quarterback. Young man is 6'6", 260 pounds. We both think that he is not only destined for greatness, he's very close right now.
Well, we were lucky enough to see him in that first ball game at Auburn, and he didn't flinch at all. Was right in there at the end. He's got a very accurate arm when he's on rhythm. He will throw it into coverage occasionally, and that's going to be the challenge for him. If he can stay away from mistakes, Texas is going to challenge him with some blitzes. Kansas State can play right along with Texas.
Captains are at the midfield about to flip the coin. We're very close to kickoff. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll also hear from the third man in our crew, Jack Caruth.
If you want it, here it is, come and get it. Make your mind up fast. If you want it, here it is, come and get it.
The clock is ticking at the Buick, Pontiac, and GMC Time to Buy sale. For 7 short days, get great deals on many 07 Buick, Pontiac, and GMC models, like $2,500 cash back on the 6-cylinder G6. Hurry, on October 1st, time's up. See your Buick, Pontiac, and GMC dealer.
Shop victoriously.
Are these numbers right?
Yes.
Do you know what this means? It means we have doubled in the last 6 months. It means we're gonna have to hire more people, move into a bigger space to get those key card things. We'll need to order a lot more wood. What if this continues?
Dave, isn't that kind of the idea?
Citibank Business Banking. Whatever your growing business needs, Citibank's there with guidance and customized solutions to help your business thrive. Come to Citi and let's get it done.
And Gleason recovers a fumble in the end zone. That's his first career touchdown.
Wait, is that a Dr. Pepper?
Oh, he's going to make the most of this one.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend.
Milking it.
Can you believe this? We might be here all night.
Is he really going to do this? Look out.
Only Dr. Pepper has 23 flavors packed into one bold taste. For those who make the most of everything.
Welcome back to Austin, Texas. I'm Jack Arute. As Ron and Ed said, don't talk revenge when you're around the Longhorn team. But you can't help but think about what happened in the Little Apple 1 year ago. In fact, despite the denials throughout the course of the week, Ron, on the last Thursday team meeting, what did the head coach, Mack Brown, do? He brought out a video highlights from last year up there in Manhattan, showing their quarterback going down to injury and lingering a very long time when the student body and the fans emptied the stands and flooded the field after the game. Now, I asked Mack Brown if that didn't send a revenge, get even message. And he said, Jack, with so many people on this team, we like to open the toolbox and use every single one of them to motivate them.
All right, Jack Arute, the weather here in Austin, Texas, actually, we got a little bit of cloud cover. As you look at the Ron Prince, a few clouds in the sky. That hasn't been the case the last few days. High temperature, 89. The heat index has been well over 100 for this entire week. The wind could be significant. Southeast at 9, 51% the humidity, and partly cloudy is the forecast for the remainder of the day.
And if you wanted to talk about an advantage in the weather, you've got to think Texas has a little more depth, especially at their wide receiver spot, than Kansas State. And those guys that are running a lot today are going to start feeling that in the fourth quarter.
K-State has won the toss, and they have elected to receive. As you can see, the teams lined up down on the field, and this is Hunter Lawrence, who has it teed at the 30-yard line. Line drive kick is going to go right between the two deep receivers, and it will go out of the back of the end zone. Now let's take a look at the K-State starting lineup, brought to you by Best Buy. Here is Dion Murphy.
The starting lineup for the Kansas State Wildcats this afternoon is we got at quarterback Josh Freeman, the kid with the cannon. We got at receiver Jordy Nelson, the people's champ. We got up front the Hogs. We got Jordan Bador, and we got the Samoan warrior Alisana.
All right, Dion, thanks so much. K-State comes directly from the sideline and lines up offensively. Two wide receivers to the right. Freeman to throw on first down. Quick out pass, and he's got his favorite receiver. That is Nelson. Jordy Nelson is with the reception. Now let's take a look at the Texas defensive starters. Here's Michael Griffin.
Introducing the Texas defense for this afternoon. You had the big guy, the big ox, the big rhino, wherever you want to call him, Derek Loki, bench press over 500 pounds. But he also got a soft side to him because he just got married this summer. In the second group, you got Scott Darius, senior, got a nose for the ball, always in the right place at the right time. Helped me out a lot last year. Then in the secondary, you have Marcus Griffin, the other half, the long dread guy himself, quiet, but he's willing to make a lot of noise when he's coming downhill to stop the run.
And as you hear the completion of the defensive starters by Michael Griffin, you also see a good scramble on the part of Josh Freeman. And even though he got hit by two different men, Bobineau will get credit for the tackle, but he is so large, he fought his way forward for a first down.
And I think what Texas is seeing with Josh Freeman is some more confidence. Last year, making his second start of the season against Texas, he's a better athlete, Ron, than you'd think at 265 pounds.
Three wide receivers set on the right. That's Pushki in motion, the tight end. And they throw a middle screen. Nelson breaks by a tackle. 40, 45 in the open and takes it across midfield to the 48-yard line. It's a gain of 18 yards, and Ryan Palmer comes over from the Texas secondary to make the tackle.
And now they're starting to really incorporate Jordy Nelson on inside throws, very close to the line of scrimmage, and an excellent move by Nelson early in that run. Ryan Palmer had him for about a 1-yard game, and Nelson got back up inside. Nelson, one of the several walk-ons that have come into Kansas State and made huge impacts.
Well, in that Auburn game, the opening game of the year, Nelson had an outstanding game down there. In fact, he was close to double figures in catches as the handoff goes to James Johnson. And Johnson will take it inside the Texas 45. Marcus Griffin from his safety position there to make the tackle.
Well, let's take a look at the X factor in today's game. Presented by Citi. And for Kansas State, he's so good against the blitz. He has a high percentage when you blitz him. So if you're Texas, you have to choose that wisely and get to him. And for Texas, can they stay focused on today? It's the open of the Big 12, but Ron, next week, Oklahoma, I don't think they're going to look past, but they do need to remain focused.
He rolls the pocket, throws it complete. Again, it's Nelson, and he's very close to the first down. 3 catches now for him to open the ball game, and Killebrew is there to make the tackle for Texas, and it'll be 3rd down and very short, about a foot to pick up the first.
And I really like the early game plan for Kansas State. Everything's pretty short, pretty crisp, a quarterback run, and using Jordy Nelson, who broke the Kansas State record last week or 2 weeks ago for receptions against Missouri State, and right now they've got Texas on their heels.
Leon Patton checks into the ball game at tailback, replacing James Johnson. Short, quick passes, not allowing the defensive front to put pressure on the quarterback, Freeman. They'll keep it on the ground, runs into his own lineman, but with that thrust, will take it for the first down at the 38-yard line. Bobineau defensively.
Ron Prince, when you talk to him, he is such an intelligent guy. He really thinks about things away from the field. He thinks of things in big schemes from the 35,000-foot level. And the one thing that he works on very hard with his team is not being flustered, going into big environments. And we saw that the first game of the season against Auburn. They went toe-to-toe with Auburn. Now, Auburn hasn't shaken out to be as good as we thought, but they just don't flinch.
First down at the Longhorn 38. Here's an audible coming from Freeman. Short drop again. Looking right across the middle, has it complete, and that is close to a first down. This time Daniel Gonzalez, a senior out of Augusta, Kansas, played at Independence Community College, and that'll move the chains again.
And one of the things that Josh Freeman has had trouble with is interceptions. He will try to fit the ball in. Well, you heard Deion Murphy talk about his arm when he talked about the opening lineups. He can fire it, and they don't want to handcuff this young man.
8th play of the drive coming up. It started back at the 20-yard line, and again they go shotgun. Both Johnson and Patton in the backfield. Looking near sideline, got it complete again, and that is Deion Murphy, the young man who did the starting lineups for us today. And I'll tell you, this is getting very, very repetitive with a pass and another first down and a few groans that time as the ball was thrown complete, and they now are sitting just outside the Texas 15-yard line.
And all Murphy's going to do is go sit down behind the corner and in front of the safety. And because they're getting such good pass protection, they're able to find it. And you give Josh Freeman this much time, and he's going to pick you apart.
Texas shows blitz. And they come with the blitz. They take it back into the boundary at the 10, at the 5, maybe not quite the 5-yard line. And we'll see where the officials stepped him out of bounds. It looks as though it's about the 5.5-yard line. It was Scott Derry who made the tackle on Johnson.
Right now, Dwayne Aquina and Larry McDuff, the co-defensive coordinators for Texas, are trying to find anything to slow down Kansas State. That time they brought a blitz on a rundown. Of course, you're in the red zone. That's why what you expect down there. But Kansas State is making this first drive look awfully easy against this Texas defense.
Textbook. First and goal, Kansas State. Straight ahead with the running play this time, maybe a gain of a half-yard as Griffin and Derry combined on the stop right there. Also Killebrew in to help out. Leon Patton, the smaller of the two running backs. James Johnson is 5'11", 200, and Patton 5'7", 187. 11th play of the drive coming up, and they have spotted it just inside the 5.
And watch for Jordy Nelson on this one. He's 6'3". He's lining up over here on the slot to the right.
Pushki goes in motion. Near side, there's Nelson. Turns it up. Touchdown, K-State. His 4th catch of the drive, and he takes it into the end zone. And Kansas State with an extremely impressive offensive drive to open this ball game.
And that was the second rub route, as you call it on offense. You call it a pick if you're on defense, that they ran on that drive. Murphy came inside, and Nelson came right behind him, who picked off the defender.
Kick is up, and it's good by Rossman, and we'll take a timeout. And as we head to commercial, we will take a look at Nelson with the touchdown. His 4th catch of the drive, 7-0. Wildcats on top.
HD?
HD.
Thoughts?
Lots of thoughts. LCD, plasma.
Kiva surround sound, head spinning.
Deep breath. Likes?
Cowboy explosions, touchdown robots.
Cooking, tearjerkers, crime dramas.
Sing-along musicals.
This system, LG Home Theater, perfect fit. Mechanically inclined?
Emergency room inclined.
We install.
We pledge a complete home theater experience and now save $200 off an LG HD TV with installation. That's HD done right at Best Buy.
This is where I grew up and where my parents still live. They did everything for me. Provided for my education, got me started. That's why I want to make sure that this home will always be theirs, that their needs will be taken care of, and that their future will be as bright as the future they gave me.
At John Hancock, we have the insurance, investment, and retirement products to help build, protect, and sustain the future you've promised yourself. John Hancock, the future is yours.
Welcome to the new shape of fast. Introducing the new Pontiac G6 GXP Street Edition. Pontiac, designed for action.
When a show is a little dirty and the sexy, it's money.
Because you know you're so.
An all-new Dirty Sexy Money. Wednesday at 10/9 Central after an all-new Private Practice on ABC. Start here.
Josh Freeman on the far sideline. What an opening drive for him this afternoon. And we told you we're in for quite a treat. 11 plays, 80 yards, 4 minutes and 31 seconds off the clock. Freeman was perfect. 6 of 6, 59 yards. And, of course, his favorite receiver, which we talked about off the top of the telecast, is Jordy Nelson.
One of the things that Ron Prince told us before we did the Auburn game, going into that big environment, the thing that he likes most about his true sophomore quarterback, remember this is the second year in the program for Josh Freeman, is he's emotionally neutral. Doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He looked pretty neutral in that drive.
Well, one thing for sure, he was untouched with the exception of the scramble. This is a pooch kick. Very high. It's a spinner, and it's going to be taken at the 20-yard line and out to the 31-yard line. Let's go back and look at the touchdown because it certainly appears to be legal, but it's close.
Yeah, in college football, as long as the ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage, this is clearly a block by Leon Patton. A lot of times you'll run in there. If you freeze it, the 4-yard line was a line of scrimmage, and it appears that the ball is right at about the 4-yard line. Now, the side judge would have had a hard time seeing exactly where the ball was because Nelson's back was to him, but awfully close. If it is behind the line, legal. If not, illegal.
Colt McCoy, the sophomore out of Tuscola, played at Jim Ned High School. Jamal Charles joins him in the backfield, and he'll give it to Charles, tries to sweep to the right, and he is going to be stopped for no gain. And let's check in quickly with Reese Davis. Reese.
Ron, Illinois lost 30 of its last 33 Big Ten games. Thus, here's our nominee for the Pontiac game-changing performance for the Illini against Penn State. Aurelius Regis Ben, the freshman, took a kickoff back in the first quarter. turned the game around. This might be the Pontiac program-changing performance. The Illini win. You can check out all the nominees at ESPN.com. Keyword Pontiac.
Okay, Reese, 27-20. The Fighting Illini. Second down and 10, Texas. Jermichael Finley, the tight end, makes the catch. Now let's take a look at the starting offense presented by Best Buy. Here's Michael Griffin.
Introducing the starting lineup for the Texas Longhorns this afternoon, you have the quarterback, Colt McCoy, babyface, sure-armed gunslinger. Supporting cast will be led by Quan Cosby, a former baseball player with knows he's going to catch everything. The big guys up front will be led by senior Tony Hills, big man. You know he's going to make a lot of noise today, so be sure to watch him.
Texas on third down. Quick out pass. Got that one complete, and that's Nate Jones. It'll be enough for the Longhorn first down out to the 48-yard line. It's a gain of 10. Now let's take a look at the Kansas State defensive starters. Here's Ian Campbell.
We got the Kansas State Wildcat defense. Front four, we got starting nose guard, Steve Klein from Florida, the King Fisherman. Out of California, we got Reggie Walker, the original beast. And from Hayes, Kansas, America, we got the granddaddy of the defense, Marcus 5,000 Watts.
He is 5,000 watts also. Quick pass this time to the near sideline to Quan Crosby. And Cosby, the junior out of Mart, Texas, will take it very close to another Texas first down. Actually, they're going to spot him down at the 44.5, so it'll be second down. And actually, they'll need about 3.
And this is the first game that Colt McCoy this season has had his full complement of wide receivers. Pittman, of course, was suspended for a DUI. Lima Swede had an ankle and a wrist injury. He's got his full complement today.
Charles right up the middle, and he will have the Texas first down at the 41-yard line. And let's go to the sideline and check in with Jack Arute. Jack?
Fellas, you were talking about Ron Prince being emotionally neutral with his quarterback being likewise. Well, Dwayne Aquino went to his defense as they came off the field, tried to remain emotionally neutral, but also, Ed, as he likes to do, began the teaching. He told us yesterday he knew with a little time off in a bye week that he might have to look his players in the eye and make some on-the-field, on-the-fly adjustments. That's what he's doing right now.
Kansas State coming off that bye week. We saw what they added in, a bunch of short stuff to Jordy Nelson with some picks. So those are the adjustments they're going to have to make.
3 wide receiver set. McCoy, no. That is Childs at quarterback. The backup quarterback received the snap and took it on the sweep to the right, and that's enough for the first down. They'll have a gain of 10 on the play.
John Childs comes into the game. He played 1 snap last week. Colt McCoy walks down here, so now you've got a really great athlete at quarterback. Childs only played quarterback for about 1.5 years in high school, was a wide receiver to running back, and we heard all week long in talking to Greg Davis, they wanted Childs in the game a lot more than they have early in the season.
Childs is going to stay in the lineup as well. Obviously, they can throw a backwards pass to him, and he could throw it, or they also worked in practice on Thursday of just throwing him the football. He's very speedy. He gets it, but he's going to run it. 30, 25, and out of bounds in the vicinity of the 21-yard line. John Hulick makes the tackle. Gain of 9 for Texas, and they'll spot it down at the 21. Second down, very short coming.
Well, you better believe that the entire country saw what Florida did with Tim Tebow last year. When you recruit a young athlete that happens to play quarterback like Childs or Tim Tebow, you have to find ways to get them on the field. That's a very, very nice wrinkle to have for this young man.
8th play of the drive coming up. This time Texas goes with an I formation. They hand it off to Charles, and Jamal tries to break it open. He'll have the first down in the vicinity of the 17-yard line. Again, John Hulick comes over to make the tackle for Kansas State. His father lettered in football at Oklahoma.
Well, and Jamal Charles, who takes over full-time, of course, had to share duty the last 2 years with Selvin Young. Spent some time in the weight room, gave up track a little bit this winter and spring, bulked his upper body up some to take the pounding, leads the Big 12 in rushing, so that time in the weight room is paying off.
He and Chris Obanaya became very good friends. He has worked with Chris on his speed. Chris has worked with Jamal on his upper body. Little counter tray, tries to get open, going to be engulfed after a gain of 1 by Justin Rowland. Justin, a defensive captain, and he is the guy who really is the culprit as far as Texas is concerned, because it is Justin Rowland who forced a fumble that led to K-State coming away with the victory last year up in Manhattan, Kansas.
And this defense for Kansas State, although they haven't been tested, the only test they really had on the road at Auburn, which has been struggling offensively, but they switched to a 3-4 and they've been very good against the run this year.
Charles, right side, came within a breath of breaking that one open. McCoy on this drive is 4 of 4 for 32 yards. And the interesting thing in talking with Greg Davis yesterday, as Jamal Charles had that one very close to breaking it into the secondary and going for the touchdown. And Greg Davis, the offensive coordinator, described Charles as saying, you'll watch him run the ball 3 times and say, well, that was not overly exciting. And then all of a sudden on play number 4, it's wow, because the kid can run 100 meters in 10-2. 11th play of the drive coming up.
That's Jermichael Finley in the slot. A little bit of a mismatch there at 6'5".
Short drop, look-in pass, got it at the 5-yard line, and that's Nate Jones. And Jones will make it a 1st and goal, Longhorns. So Texas trying to answer after Kansas State opened this ball game with an extremely impressive offensive drive, and now the Longhorns on the way to having one of their own.
And we mentioned a moment ago that Colt McCoy finally has his full complement of receivers back. He was also pressing, Ron, with those guys out. He looks very calm. He looked like it last week against Rice. He looks like it again here today against Kansas State.
Antoine Cobb, a redshirt freshman out of Pflugerville, which is a suburb of Austin, in at fullback. Handoff goes left, and Charles will go for maybe 1, and that's it. 7-0 Kansas State leads. We've just gone under 6 minutes to play in this opening quarter. And actually, it has been more like run, run. Although both teams have thrown, they have been short passes. And neither quarterback has missed a forward pass as yet. They're 10 for 10 between the two of them.
Well, Mac Brown yesterday said the fun thing about this game is 2 of the best young quarterbacks in the country, and we're seeing them. And right now, Derek Loki comes in at fullback, and their power I-back. I wouldn't be surprised if this were a play action, though, Ron, to one of the big, tall tight ends.
Vondrell McGee is the man at the top of the eye. They give it to him. Slashes his way toward the goal line, and the official says no. He has a knee down. It's about 6 inches away. Justin Rowland defensively for Kansas State. Vondrell McGee, a redshirt freshman out of Longview, Texas, plays in the power formation a lot because he is a very explosive young man. So it's 3rd down and goal.
Well, you wonder if they'd run the quarterback sneak after what happened up in Manhattan. I don't think they want a lot of helmets bouncing off of McCoy. I think this may be another inside run to McGee.
McGee again, this time the right side, got to be stopped. Not there. And now comes the question, do you go field goal or do you go for it? I think you go for it, because if K-State stops you, you're still got them 99.5 yards away.
Yeah, there's no question that Mac Brown's going to go for it here, and I think this is the right decision. And you've committed to the run. You haven't gotten there, but you are just a few inches from the goal line. I'd line it up and let Loki power ahead again.
15th play of the drive, as we're about to go under 4 minutes left to play in this opening quarter. Pitches back to McGee. He'll walk in. Touchdown, Texas. And the Longhorns answer. Ryan Bailey to attempt the extra point for Texas. Ryan, a junior out of Austin Anderson High School. A lot of young men who live in the area playing here on this Texas team this year. Knocks it home, and as we go to break, one more look at Vondrell McGee, the redshirt freshman out of Longview, takes the pitch from McCoy, and he'll walk it in for the touch. We're tied at 7.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
In today's luxury game, the real question isn't whether or not your car has available features like a 304 horsepower engine. It's not a question of track-tuned suspensions, pop-up navs, 40-gig hard drives, or any of that. No. In today's luxury game, the real question is, when you turn your car on, does it return the favor?
Most people go through life following Plan A. It's predictable, it's expected, it's routine. But what if you're not a Plan A kind of person? Welcome to Plan B from Brother. Our new color laser printers and all-in-ones are for those who make the better choice, not the obvious one. With more performance, more speed, more affordability. So make the smarter decision. We call it Plan B. Brother, at your side.
The passage is intense, but if you complete the journey, you will find your destiny among the world's greatest warriors. The few, the proud, the Marines.
This presentation of college football brought to you by Best Buy. For a complete home theater experience, get HD done right at Best Buy. Cadillac, introducing the all-new 2008 Cadillac CTS. And AT&T, your world delivered.
Well, we're back at Austin, Texas. Very warm afternoon. Intermittent cloud cover, which has helped a little bit. As you look at a 15-play drive, 68 yards, 6:39 off the clock. And as I mentioned, McCoy 5 of 5. Neither quarterback has missed a forward pass because Freeman is 6 of 6 on his opening drive. Outstanding starts for both of them.
Well, we knew coming in we had two young quarterbacks, two second-year starting quarterbacks that are really starting to set themselves up for great careers at Texas and Kansas State, and it's all that's been advertised.
Hunter Lawrence has the ball teed at the 30-yard line. Another line drive kick. This is going to go 4 yards deep in the end zone. And for the second kick in a row, it's into the end zone and not returnable.
Well, one of the guys who goes both ways a little bit for Texas is Derek Lokey. We see him jogging out for the defensive snaps. Watch him at fullback right here, blocking on the defensive end, or excuse me, outside linebacker Andrew Erker. There was nothing low-key about that block by Lokey. Wow. And that's that lead option. And they played fullback in high school. I said, is he one of those guys who just runs through and no matter what happens, you just follow him? And Greg Davis said, no, he's got really good feet and balance. He can actually go up and stick on guys and block them. That's why we use him down on the goal line.
James Johnson back in the ball game at tailback for Kansas State. It's Frank Ocam who was moving around in the middle. Play action. Here comes pressure near sideline, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver Deion Murphy. First incompletion for either quarterback. And let's check back at the studio. Reese Davis.
All right, Ron, time for our Taco Bell studio update. Michigan State and Wisconsin. Winnebago P.J. Hill going in to get the Badgers on the board. But J.U. Colquitt just went into the end zone seconds ago to finish off a Michigan State drive. Point after is pending. 7-6 the score at the moment.
Okay, Reese, thanks very much. Well, Wisconsin, a little off and on, hot and cold with that offense this year. 2nd down and 10, Kansas State. Freeman, that's a backward pass, can throw it again, but he won't. Johnson turns it upfield, and they're going to have enough for the first down as he takes it out across the 30-yard line. And let's check in again with Jack Arute.
Guys, as you know, sometimes you can get the best assessment of a quarterback from the defensive coordinator for the opposition. Remember, yesterday we asked Dwayne Aquino what he saw in Josh Freeman. Didn't take long for Dwayne to break out into a smile and recall his days back in the Pacific 10. And Ed, all he did was say 2 words, Drew Bledsoe.
It was amazing right when he said that, because I played against Drew in college when I was at the University of Washington. And right when he said it, it just was crystal clear. That's exactly what I thought, because I saw the same things, Josh Freeman, that I see with Drew Bledsoe early in his career.
Pass thrown low. I don't know. They're going to say, did he catch it? That's Pushki, yes, the tight end. And they will give him credit for the reception.
It's funny when Dwayne Aquino was talking about Drew Bledsoe. He was coaching at Arizona, was a defensive coordinator, and he figured out that Washington State's quarterback who was starting couldn't throw back across the field if they were on the far hash. So they literally rolled their coverage into the boundary every time. And all of a sudden this gangly freshman Drew Bledsoe comes in, and they had to throw out the whole plan because he had an arm like he'd never seen before, and his defensive backs had to make the adjustment right away.
Movement along the defensive front, and that's it's Loki, in fact, who made the move, and he's going to cost himself and the Longhorns 5 yards on this play. It'll be 2nd down and 5. We were talking about Loki and showing you his really good block on the
offsides,
touchdown.
number 98 of the defense. Penalties 5 yards, and it's still 2nd down.
Well, it only looks like 98. It's actually 96 because he's so squatted. That 6 gets all bunched up and looks like an 8.
Well, he's getting a break right now. The young man is a 4-point student, and he is going to law school. And the guy that he wants to go to law school with him, and I think it's going to happen as a combo, is Frank Oakham, number 97, the other side of the defensive line. He, too, is a 4-point student. Second and 5, they go with the running play, and Patton going to have the first down. I'll tell you, their average per try has been over 5 yards per carry. They have been very, very good. Eric Jackson comes over to make the tackle for Texas.
And Patton's the guy that comes in to spell James Johnson. Johnson's been the workhorse, went to the same high school as Jamal Charles, was a couple of years ahead of him and had to go to junior college, ended up here at Kansas State. But Patton is the speedier of the two. He's been clocked down around 10-2 in the 100 meters, so it's a nice changeup when Patton comes in.
Johnson back into the ball game now on first down. Play action. Pressure on him, and he gets it out. And that's Nelson again. Jordy Nelson. That's 5 catches for him already. Well, tonight, 2 national championship favorites take the field on ESPN and ABC. On ABC, it's the Trojans of USC. They will take on the Washington Huskies. On ESPN, defending national champion Florida. They will try to avenge their only loss from last year against the Auburn Tigers. Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines at 8 Eastern on ABC, and College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Now this running play is going to be knocked down at the line of scrimmage. You could see the pressure coming through on Freeman. That was Bobineau who was making the tackle, but the pressure inside considerable. And I think what the defensive coaches are trying to say is, as Oakham comes to the bench to get a breather, they are trying to alternate more players to keep them fresh, but also saying we got to get some pressure on this young man.
Well, and this is the down and distance that Dwayne Aquino knows. They'll leave the ball in Josh Freeman's hands. Watch for the outcut by Nelson and possibly another rub route coming from the outside Murphy.
Lestrade in motion. Blitz comes right up the middle. The ball is delivered, and it's Pushki, the tight end, who catches it for the first down just inside the 45-yard line.
One thing to watch with Josh Freeman, he worked so hard during the offseason on his balance, keeping his weight, because he's such a big guy. He got up to almost 265 pounds this summer. Not bad weight. It was all from the weight room. But he's worked very hard on his balance, and that's what a tall guy will struggle with, is staying over his center of gravity more.
On first down, 3-step drop. Got it to Nelson again. Out of bounds immediately at the 40-yard line. Catch number 6 for Jordy Nelson.
The other thing to watch with Josh Freeman is how quickly the ball gets out of his hand. Again, talking about his height, guys with long arms sometimes have that long throwing motion. There was a great piece this morning on Game Day about how Tim Tebow corrected his long throwing motion with some analysis, some computer analysis. But watch Josh Freeman. He flicks the ball. And all good quarterbacks have that quick release, and this guy surely has it.
Here comes the reverse. Nelson wants to throw. They scored a touchdown on this against Auburn. But this one, he runs into his own man. He's still fighting, and is going to have a second down pickup of about 2 yards. Incredible as he broke by the tackles. That is the end of the first quarter. But he wanted to throw, and it's something that they threw a touchdown pass against Auburn on in that opening game of the year. So let's take a timeout as we head to the second 15 minutes. Kansas State 7 and Texas 7.
What's your strategy?
We have to play the very first day. We do? Yes.
Monopoly at McDonald's returns October 2nd.
I'm going to use my Egg McMuffin method. It involves eggs and McMuffins.
I rotate from one McDonald's to the other, counterclockwise.
With almost $200 million in cash and prizes. So whatever your strategy.
I rub Ron's head for luck.
Can I get some of that?
Yeah, get in there.
Get ready. October 2nd is coming soon. Christy won $50 grand, but she's not telling how.
At Michelin, our tires are rigorously tested. They're laser checked, X-rayed for structural integrity. And finally, no tire leaves the factory without a thorough hand inspection. Michelin, a better way forward.
A sudden disability can blindside even the healthiest business. At Unum, our benefits not only help people get back on their feet, they keep your whole company running strong. Unum, better benefits at work.
In today's luxury game, the question isn't whether or not your car has available features like a 40-gig hard drive. It isn't about sunroofs or Sapelli wood accents, pop-up nav screens, or any of that. No, the real question is, when you turn your car on, does it return the favor?
When we need to slow down, we use a thing called brakes.
And we don't use our feet like in the Flintstones.
Hey,
my people invented the wheel and apparently attitude.
let's get along. We're sharing an hour.
Carpoolers premieres Tuesday right after the series premiere of Caveman on ABC. Start here.
So we're tied at 7 as we are about to begin the second quarter. Welcome back to ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. Third down, Kansas State needs the 34-yard line, and the pass is caught by Nelson, and he will not pick up the first down. He's going to be stopped short at the 35-yard line by Robert Killebrew.
And at this down and distance, I think you have to go for it here. I think it's too long to kick a field goal, and if you punt it and it goes into the end zone, you're only going to gain 14 yards of field position. So in my opinion, this is kind of a no-brainer for Kansas State.
So there it sits at the 35-yard line, and they clearly have to go just inside the 34. So let's call it about a yard and a half for the first. Empty backfield. Freeman. Middle screen, Nelson, and very dangerously tipped the ball. I know it was so high that he didn't want somebody behind him to intercept it, but when he tipped it away to the open field, that could have been touchdown Texas.
Good aggressive call. Look at all of the Longhorns up on the line of scrimmage. They bring a full blitz. And it was the big guys who started backing away. They felt screen and they started backing away. That's Thomas Marshall. Starts backing away, and Freeman has to kind of loft it, but he should have just tried to drop it over. He threw that too high, and it was very dangerous. And if that thing gets picked, the defender has momentum. He may be headed the other way.
So Colt McCoy comes in. First down for his Longhorns at the 35-yard line. And here's Charles right up the middle. Holding on dearly to a leg is Marcus Perry. Going to be a gain of about 3.5 yards.
When we talked with Ron Prince the other day about his young quarterback who has had, Josh Freeman has had bouts of interceptions. He's had thrown them in bunches. The last couple of games of last year, he had 6 down the stretch, but they don't want to take his aggressiveness away. So they coach him. They don't get into his grill too much about those dangerous throws.
Jordan Shipley comes into the ball game at wide receiver. Charles right up the middle, breaks it big, out over the 50-yard line and into Kansas State territory. His longest gainer of the afternoon of 12, and that goes back to what his offensive coordinator, Greg Davis, said. He'll look common, and then all of a sudden he'll look wow on any carry because of his speed.
Well, and you would think with this speed that it would be outside runs that he gets the biggest yardage. His biggest runs this year have come between the tackles. And remember that Coach Davis replacing 3 very good offensive linemen who've moved on to the NFL.
Short drop, quick throw, Lima Swede on the receiving end. And let's check down on the sideline. Now they're saying that the play was dead after a gain of 2, so let's go down and check with Jackaroo.
Guys, you were talking about the newfound poise that the sophomore Colt McCoy seems to have exhibited over the course of the last 2 games. It may be attributed to some advice that he got from Greg Davis, his offensive coordinator. Greg sat him down a couple of weeks ago and said, Colt, why are you trying to make always the perfect play? He said, you didn't do that last year. And Colt told us yesterday, he said, all of a sudden it dawned on me, it's not about making the perfect play, it's about getting us into a good play.
Yeah, that's for sure. He's going to carry the ball himself and will take it inside the 45 to around the 44. Rob Jackson tripped him up.
And this is the exact lesson that they went through with Major Applewhite. Colt McCoy is such a heady guy. Of course, Major has gone on to coach. He's now the offensive coordinator at Alabama, so you know he's a smart guy. Spent so much time learning this offense that he almost knows it too well. You hate to say that, but he always wanted to audible. He's got so much autonomy in the game that he wanted to audible to the perfect play every time, and he just didn't need to do that.
Obanaya comes in the ball game at tailback. And McCoy looks for a space to run, and there is nothing there. Stacked up, and he'll be knocked down for a loss. Rob Jackson will lead the attack again, and I could tell you, in the first quarter, there were 35 plays run, and nothing went for minus yardage. That play right there will go for negative yardage.
Kansas State led the Big 12 last year in sacks. They're back up near the top again this year. Switched to a 3-4. Ian Campbell goes to outside linebacker, but they almost always bring 5 or 6 rushers, always trying to get pressure on the quarterback.
Trevor Gerlin, a sophomore out of Katy, Texas, played at Cinco Ranch. About to kick it away either to Deion Murphy or Jordy Nelson, a dual safety for the Wildcats. We're tied at 7, early going, second quarter, wobbly spiral. Nelson calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 16-yard line. So 31 yards on the kick, and we'll take a timeout. And as we go to break, another look at the huge one from Kansas City Grandview, Josh Freeman. He has been outstanding so far. We'll be right back.
Today's AT&T All-America Flashback, Lorenzo White. As a sophomore in 1985, he led the nation in rushing with over 1,900 yards. As a senior in 1987, White led the Spartans to their first Rose Bowl appearance since 1966 by rushing for over 1,500 yards. Text vote to 87654 now on your AT&T wireless phone to play All-America Trivia for a chance to win a trip to the national championship game.
Beth Ann, 3,000 texts last month.
NWRUS?
That wasn't a compliment. Sean, 1,000 texts?
UGH.
And you're old enough to know better.
MYOB, will you? Grandma. Mom, who could you be texting? IDK, my BFF Rose.
Now get a texting plan the whole family can NJOY. AT&T brings your family unlimited messaging to anyone on any network. Now buy any phone and get up to 4 free. Singular's name is now AT&T.
Oh, game day.
Like your breakfast.
Birdwood, your new car's rolling.
It's not stolen, I just bought it.
It's gonna hit that truck.
Please no need to swear.
Hot car, huh? It's on fire.
Do you have new car replacement? Call Allstate to sign up today. Are you in good hands?
Fall in love with melty cheese. Taco Bell's new Cheesy Beefy Melt. To get seasoned beef, cool sour cream, melty, and even more glorious melty cheese, think outside the bun.
They pick up touchdowns, pick up the pucks, and pick up their teams. Enterprise salutes NCAA student athletes for picking us all up. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Showtime! Caveman premieres Tuesday, 8/7 Central on ABC.
Jordy Nelson, number 27, a senior out of Tecumseh, Kansas. He has 7 catches for 50 yards on the afternoon already. Freeman under pressure, got by Ocam, and then throws his short pass complete at the 21-yard line.
Jordy Nelson has just been on fire. A couple of weeks ago, he set the all-time single game catching record for Kansas State with 14, and a lot of it has been outcuts and getting the ball in his hands. You wouldn't expect a guy at 6'3" to be so good in the open field, but boy, he is tough to bring down. On that reverse that he was going to throw, looked like he was going to get dropped for a big loss, and actually got it back to the line of scrimmage.
Freeman fortunate that play that Ocam did not grab a hold of him. He was able to get it away and throw the completed pass. And on second down, they go with Patton. And Patton is going to be gang tackled at the line of scrimmage. Roderick McElroy is there to make the tackle. And I think it is becoming obvious that they did have an extra week off, but some of the new wrinkles that K-State came in here with have been diagnosed semi-so by the Texas defensive coaches.
Well, I think what Dwayne Aquina and Larry McDuff, the co-defensive coordinators, have done, I think they're getting closer to the line of scrimmage, Ron. They're being a little more aggressive with their blitzes and their coverage because of all that underneath stuff, and it's starting to work.
2 of 3 on third down conversions for Kansas State. Right over the middle, they continue to throw the short stuff. Pushke catches the ball, loses his headgear, and that's enough for the Kansas State first down at the 28. Robert Killebrew making the tackle.
Really nice little play here for Kansas State. Nice shot. Norton's been around quite a bit.
If you just joined us, 9 minutes and 30 seconds left until halftime. We're tied at 7. They continue to make the backs interchangeable. This time it's Johnson. They play action to him. And in the open field, Freeman gets by 1 tackle and now is going to be knocked down at the original line of scrimmage. Lamar Houston will get credit for the tackle.
I think Texas is a little surprised at how well Josh Freeman moves for a 6'6", 260-pounder. We saw Frank Ocam come in clean a couple of plays ago, and he shook him. And on this one, he's going to shake Killebrew, who, again, had him for a big loss. He ducks in, bounces out. He's not super fast, but he's lighter on his feet than you expect when he starts to move and shake and turn his shoulders.
This time, Johnson and Patton in the backfield joining Freeman. Second down and long, blitz in the middle, and this will be a negative play as James Johnson is hit behind the line of scrimmage, and Jared Norton is credited with the tackle for the Texas Longhorns. The starting linebackers are very good, but there are those that keep up with this team very closely that think that the 3 number 2s may be as good or better than the number 1s.
Great call this time by McDuff and Aquina. And the young quarterback has to see that the blitz is coming right into the hole that they're running and get out of that play. That's a dead play.
Third down. They need to take it all the way out to the 38-yard line. Pass up the near sideline, caught, but it's caught out of bounds, and that's Daniel Gonzalez.
Texas over the last several years has been one of the best kick blocking teams in the country, and with the momentum feeling like it shifted, they run out what looks like their block team. I wouldn't be surprised if Mac Brown hasn't decided to go for a block here.
Well, they were late getting on the field, and they're going to boot it away. Spiral turning over just barely, and this is Cosby. Quan Cosby hit hard as he crosses the 35, and he'll take it to the 37-yard line. So let's take a timeout. Tied at 7, a 51-yard kick and a 10-yard return when we come back. And the young man from Tuscola get it done offensively against Kansas State. Right now, he's tied.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
Introducing the new Jeep Liberty with a completely redesigned interior and a smoother... Hey, what... and a smoother on-road ride with more comfortable seats, added legroom, and... You gotta be kidding. Introducing the new all-Jeep Liberty.
Power tools have evolved. The new lithium Ryobi One Plus tools work at full power twice as long with a battery that fits all your other One Plus tools. Ryobi One Plus. Pro features, affordable prices. You'll find them only at the Home Depot.
What about last quarter? Sales?
Yeah.
4.6 million.
Is that gross or not?
That was net.
I bet you get a nice bonus.
So it's good.
Again, that's very impressive.
We're hoping for 20%.
You know what? Those numbers are very different.
Hey, get off my car. Thank you. Can I get you anything else?
Oh, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Get free one-on-one financial guidance at every Citibank branch, personalized to help you turn your dreams into realities. Come to Citi and let's get it done.
I wonder if our ancestors liked to play football.
Dude, they were just trying to survive.
They did like to throw rocks, though.
Good times, man.
Caveman premieres Tuesday at 8/7 Central on ABC. Start here.
I'm Reese Davis with your Sports Center Minute, powered by Vizio. Get you up to date on the National League playoff race. The Mets snapped their 5-game losing streak, beating the Marlins 13-0. There were extracurriculars from Miguel Olivo charged at Jose Reyes. Olivo was run, Reyes was not. 13-0. So the Mets hang in there after collapsing, losing a big lead in the National League East. Phillies trailing early against the Nationals 1-0. If those scores were to hold up, the Mets would pull back into a tie with Philadelphia for the East lead.
6 of 6, 40 yards. So we are back. I talked about the young man from Tuscola. Population 714. Now he played at Jim Ned High School. But Jim Ned High School is made up of about 5 Tuscolas. That's what you have to come up with a 2A school. He's 6 of 6 for 41 yards today. And this pass is overthrown. Well, we jinxed him. First incompletion. Jack, let's check with you.
Well, Ron, you talk about how small that town for Colt McCoy is. Remember, yesterday he shared with us the fact that not only is he the first Division I football player ever to come out of his hometown, but the first Division I anything to receive a scholarship. That's small.
You know, Jack, the wonderful thing is everybody from his mentor in high school to the academic advisor, they are so proud of this young man. He's being split out this time, and again, Childs comes in at quarterback. And Childs is going to run the football. He'll turn the corner, hurdles one man, and then gets hurdled. It'll be a gain of 5 yards and third down at about 5 coming. But to complete the thought on McCoy, that small town has really always been in his corner, but they are so proud of him being the #1 quarterback at the University of Texas. They watch and monitor his every move down here.
One of the reasons he was so good, we were talking earlier about Josh Freeman being emotionally neutral. He's about the same way, and Mack Brown and his staff knew when he came in and redshirted in that championship year behind Vince Young, just always in the film room, learning the game and very calm all the time.
Third down, far sideline, got single coverage, and it is caught by Lima Swede. Now they say incomplete. Covered by Cheatham.
Swede did an excellent job. This ball could have been underthrown a little bit more, but Swede, of course, at 6'4", goes up and makes the play on the ball. Well, I don't know if that's not a fumble. I mean, did he have possession of that ball at all? I mean, it looked like he was bobbling a little bit, but maybe had a step or two where he locked it in and Cheatham knocked it out of his hands.
So it's punting time, the second time today that Trevor Gerlin has come on the field for the Longhorns. Wobbly spiral at the 22-yard line. This is Murphy. Deion Murphy looks for a hole up the middle, and he'll get some positive yardage out of it to around the 31. So 36 on the punt and 9 on the return. And as we go to break, one more look at Lima Swede as he is trying to gain possession. Called incomplete. We'll be right back.
HD?
HD.
Thoughts?
Lots of thoughts. LCD, plasma.
Kiva surround sound, head spinning.
Deep breath. Likes?
Cowboy explosions, touchdown robots.
Cooking, tearjerkers, crime dramas.
Sing-along musicals.
This system, LG Home Theater, perfect fit. Mechanically inclined?
Emergency room inclined.
We install.
We pledge a complete home theater experience and now save $200 off an LG HD TV with installation. That's HD done right at Best Buy.
Introducing the new Jeep Liberty with a completely redesigned interior and a smoother... Hey, what... and a smoother on-road ride with more comfortable seats, added legroom, and... You gotta be kidding. Introducing the new all-Jeep Liberty.
Hear about Fensky?
No.
Got hurt, missed work. Thought his major medical was enough. Poor guy. Didn't have Aflac.
What does Aflac do?
Let's say this is major medical, right? Well, see the hole? That's where Aflac comes in. Helps pay for groceries, rent, all kinds of bills. Major medical? Poor Fensky. He thought he had enough coverage.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
This presentation of college football brought to you by Best Buy. For a complete home theater experience, get HD done right at Best Buy. Aflac, ask about it at work. And Jeep, with 7 Jeep vehicles, there's one for you.
And we are back. You see the large crane to the north end of the stadium. A lot of work going on here at Darrell K. Royal Memorial Football Stadium. And I think when it's all completed, what will it be? Just over 94,000 that they will hold in here. It's been a really good ball game. Opening conference tilt tied at 7. Pass is in and out of the hands of Jordan. Jordy Nelson dropped his first pass of the day. He was 7 catches for 50 yards, but we talked about the changes that the defensive people had made. All of a sudden, Nelson is going to be he's going to be watched a lot closer.
Well, Dwayne Aquina and Larry McDuff, the co-defensive coordinators, had seen enough in that first drive of playing off, and they were having trouble making tackles in space. So they have now begun to crowd the line of scrimmage, get closer up because of all the screens. Now they can back off a little bit on 2nd and long.
Freeman rolls the pocket, and Nelson tries for a one-handed grab, and he couldn't hold on. He was about to get tattooed, so to speak, and Derry is the man who was right there. Scott Derry, senior out of Pearland, Texas.
Well, and now it's up to the offensive staff for Kansas State, James Franklin, the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, to open things up a little bit. It appears that Texas has answered those short throws. Now in 3rd and 10, you're in a drop back situation, and you've got to expect pressure from Texas. Maybe some one-on-one coverage to the outside, run a little fade with Murphy.
Kansas State 3 of 5. Freeman, great protection up the near sideline. The ball is overthrown and incomplete. K-State looking for a marker, and there was none. Daniel Gonzalez, the intended receiver.
A lot of credit has to go to the Texas defensive staff. Last few drives have been totally different, giving different looks to Josh Freeman. Ron Prince over there talking to his young quarterback about what he's seen now, because it's different. He saw a lot of zone early. Now he's seen a lot of man.
He almost got a block on this one. Kick, wobbly spiral down to the 20. This is Cosby, Quan Cosby, and there's going to be a flag, or has to be. That was a block in the back.
Well, I think they missed it.
Killebrew blocked him in right in front of Quan Cosby, and he hit him in the back, and is fortunate that his team is not walking 15 yards further downfield. So if you just joined us, 5 minutes and 20 seconds is what we have left in the second quarter, and we are tied at 7, so we're going to take a break. Kansas State and Texas all knotted up. We'll be right back.
Introducing the new Jeep Liberty with a completely redesigned interior and a smoother... Hey, what... and a smoother on-road ride with more comfortable seats, added legroom, and... You gotta be kidding. Introducing the new all-Jeep Liberty.
Welcome to Lazy Boy.
Hi, I hear you sell sofas and stuff.
Yep, we're not just recliners.
Oh, good. My living room is not so comfortable.
Why don't you try this?
Hey, buddy.
Comfort. It's what we do. Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries.
You've taken a journey filled with surprises. You set your sights on a destination and arrived exactly where you wanted to go. With Pacific Life, you're ready for wherever that road leads to next. As you head towards your future, count on Pacific Life. Ask your financial professional about Pacific Life. The power to help you succeed.
The chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup is on ABC. Coming off a wild race for chase drivers, Carl Edwards took the checkered at Dover. Now, with the chase standings the tightest in history, the pressure is mounting for points leaders Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, and Tony Stewart to notch a crucial win at Kansas. Every lap matters. The chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup continues at Kansas. Coverage begins tomorrow at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on ABC.
Carpoolers premieres Tuesday, 8:30, 7:30 Central on ABC. Start here.
Give a lot of credit to Ron Prince. Watch the block in the back by Killebrew on Marcus Perry. And it's not away from the ball. He actually blocks him into the tackle. But I give a lot of credit to Ron Prince. He very calmly walked out. He didn't throw his headset. He didn't yell and scream. He just said, listen, Killebrew hit my guy right in the back. You've got to make that. We've only got one penalty in this game. Kansas State, the most penalized team in Division 1A.
Yeah.
And so
in fact, in the game we did over to Auburn, there were 7 defensive penalties that gave the Auburn Tigers first downs in that game. And K-State not only should have, but they very easily could have won that football game. But they just kept doing themselves in. But this play right here, Killebrew at least won't have to go to the special teams and hear his head coach say, Robert, why did you block the man in the back? Because Robert said,
there's no penalty.
I didn't, coach. There was no penalty. That's right.
I used to say that all the time. I'd hold, as an offensive lineman, especially when you get to the NFL, you hold on every play. But the fact of the matter is, if there is, referees are looking at a clock issue to see if they need to put time on or off the clock. But I used to say all the time, it's not holding if they don't call it.
That's exactly right. So 5 minutes and 20 seconds is what we show in what has been a very fast-paced ball game. And one of the reasons the offense that Kansas State has used, very short drops, and the passes have been short. And they're all but like running plays. And all those passes have been complete. They're 12 of 16. And so as a result, the clock has really been moving. Now let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary.
Well, early on, very efficient offenses on first drives. And, of course, was or wasn't it a penalty blocking downfield? We'll never know. Jordy Nelson scores. And then a great block by Derek Lokey springs McGee for the option on the touchdown. That's how we sit at 7-7. But since then, both defenses have really tightened up, gotten more aggressive. Well, they're not going to go anywhere with the referee 20 yards on the wrong side of the ball.
And let's go down and check in with Jack. Jack, do you have any idea what all this is about?
Well, I think it is a clock issue, but I want to pose to you a question, Ron. Let's listen to the call here.
Clock to 5:40. 5:40.
So they're going to add 20 seconds onto the game clock. But here's the question for you. Would you rather be hit by a linebacker or drive at 230 miles an hour? Well, this guy, A.J. Foyt IV, does the latter. And, A.J., you are a huge Texas Longhorn fan. Break down the game thus far.
Well, I like to see our offense do a little bit better. Our defense finally woke up. So I think it's going to be a good game, but we always seem to get better in the second half.
Hang on here. I got another question for you.
Pass is caught by Billy Pittman for about 5. Let's go back to you, Jeff.
All right. One of your friends, Helio Castroneves, is tripping the light fantastic and dancing with the stars. Break down his performance for me, A.J.
I'll tell you what, man. He looked good. He's smiling the whole time. He's nice and small and petite. He looks like a dancer to me. I mean, I think he's doing an awesome job so far. Hopefully he wins.
All right. How many times have you voted?
None. But I'm just cheering for him here.
There you go.
I haven't voted yet, but I'll vote next time.
Ron, we'll get him on Dancing with the Stars next year.
Okay. Thanks, Jack. And this running play is going to be very close. In fact, it will be a first down with a really good second effort, not only by Jamal Charles, but the surge by that offensive front.
Just on cue, he did a pirouette during that run.
Did you hear what Helio said the other night? I happened to be watching this one portion, and the guy said, "You never stop smiling. What is it?" I was in this competition. I didn't smile until the 8th week. And Helio looked at him and said, "Maybe I just have more fun than you."
that show, they work hard on that show. They put in the hours.
Play action, got a man there, and Colt misses him. Billy Pittman was the intended receiver, and McCoy was just off the mark with that one.
And a lot of this has to do with timing, Ron. Remember, Pittman served a 3-game suspension for the DWI he had this summer, and he just got back all of their receivers because of some injuries to Lima Sweet, so they're working on some timing.
Pittman was use of a card.
Excuse me. I apologize.
Yeah. Does not need to be.
No, apologize.
So it is 2nd down and 10. That'll stop the clock at 4:43. His cornerbacks creep up. They got the right call on if they can get him by one man, because there was nobody left in the secondary as the guard, actually the center, Dallas Griffin, had come downfield to block on the safety. One person away from that one going the distance.
And this is something that they struggled with. Just lost his footing. As the receiver went to block for him down there, he lost his footing. The defender was able to jump by him.
So it is 3rd down. The line to make for Texas is the 50. We're tied at 7 with 4:03 left until halftime, and Colt wants to talk it over, and so do we. So when we come back, it'll be a 3rd down situation for the Horns.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
It's Bobby Bowden's statue. Hold your breath until we pass it.
They hit Bobby Bowden's statue.
So lifelike.
Dude.
Get him!
Do you have accident forgiveness? Call Allstate to sign up today. Are you in good hands?
Ooh, the never-ending pasta bowl is going on.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, I had no idea.
Olive Garden's never-ending pasta bowl with new smoked mozzarella Alfredo. Pick any sauce and pasta combination, then another. Just $8.95. Have all you want.
Testing.
Check. Is Hertz there yet? Oh, here he comes. Hey, Hertz. They came and got me.
We came and got you.
They came and got him.
So,
you'll bill my insurance?
We'll bill your insurance.
They'll bill his insurance.
You're gonna nail me
With the replacement rates, right?
No, we even offer one-way rentals.
Who do they
think they are?
Yeah, who do you think you are? Hertz.
And you are?
Well, I'm not a spy.
Hertz Local Edition. Another reason why we're Hertz, and they're not.
IBM presents the 25 greatest players ever. Number 23, Johnny Rodgers.
It's not his 1972 Heisman Trophy that he's most remembered for. It's the remarkable punt return that helped beat Oklahoma in 1971, ultimately vaulting Nebraska to their second straight national title. IBM getting it done.
Boy, who could ever forget that ball game? Either a high-scoring affair won by the Huskers.
Texas!
I'm getting the feeling that this team's going to be all specialists, running backs, wide receivers, what have you.
You have to touch the ball, apparently, a lot to be on that list.
Chris Obanaya comes in at running back, number 3. Pass over the middle is intercepted by a defensive lineman for K-State at the 30, at the 20. This is Manu, and Moses Manu will take it in for the touchdown. Check it, Ian Campbell, 98 rather than 96. Campbell rambles 40 yards for the touchdown.
Kind of reminds you of James Laurinaitis against the University of Washington a couple of weeks ago. Campbell, who now plays linebacker, actually was in the middle of the line of scrimmage and read McCoy's eyes and jumped up, and that ball just stuck in his hands.
It did stick in his hands. It didn't come close to coming out. Then he did a nice job of bringing it down the sideline. The extra point by Rossman is good, and all of a sudden, with 3:53 left in the second quarter, it is Kansas State 14 and Texas 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our meeting, where I'd like to start.
Hi, could I get a cheeseburger, some curly fries, and a medium?
Get some glasses! Our fries don't curl!
Hey, Happy Socks! Call out a hedge?
You don't do it anywhere else, so why do it at the game? Be a good sport. Brought to you by the Big 12 Conference of NCAA Football.
All right, today we're going to start with 12 BCS game appearances, add 8 Final Fours, 276 academic All-Americans, and 385 NCAA championships. That's an important ingredient. Mix that all together. Oh, that is going to be so good. And we'll put it in the oven for about 12 years. And voila, the Big 12 Conference, celebrating 12 big years. Who wants some now?
So we're back in Austin. Captain Ian Campbell. Touchdown, 41 yards. And right after the kick, we're going to replay it for you and let you see what a tremendous play he made getting that into the end zone. And also, Byron Garvin paved the way with a huge block to open the door.
And you have to go back to last year. Texas goes up to Kansas State with a ton on the line, positioned to maybe get towards a national championship game, wrap up the South Division in the Big 12. They got shocked, and right now it's awfully quiet in this building.
First career interception for Ian Campbell. Here comes the kickoff. Cosby at the 3. He is smacked down hard at the 15-yard line. Let's take another look at that interception.
Well, there's Campbell right there. He's going to run a stunt with the defensive end, and he ends up in the middle of the line of scrimmage, locking horns with the center. Excuse me, that's the right guard, Dockery, and he just stops because he's not going anywhere, and that ball hits him right in the hand. So difficult for a quarterback to see that, but you're the one who mentioned it, Ron. Brian Garvin, great hustle. Obanaya probably gets over there and makes a tackle. It's still great field position, but you've got to finish every play. Hats off to Brian Garvin for finishing that play.
McCoy on first down, steps up, gets the ball away. That is Jamal Charles, and he is finally forced out of bounds at around the 32-yard line by Reggie Walker.
Let's take a look at the line of scrimmage. McCoy goes up. It's a nice play by him. Boy, right at the last second. No. Good no call by the officials, and what a heads-up play. Listen, if you're Colt McCoy, you'd much rather have Jamal Charles have that.
I think this is a good timeout right here by Ron Prince. His ball club is up 14-7. He doesn't want to make a mistake on defense and allow Texas to go in tied. He wants to have the lead at halftime.
You know, you get the sense when you talk to Ron Prince and his working for Al Groh, a guy who looked at every aspect of the game, learned a lot about management and how to look at talent and everything from Al Groh, but you get the sense that he thinks of things like this. He thinks of everything that may happen in a game, and I agree that this is a very good timeout, a good play. Your guys are all excited. Maybe their adrenaline has taken over, which gets you a little tired. Let's get a timeout and regroup.
And let's go down to the sideline, Jack Arute.
Well, fellas, it's kind of like a heavyweight battle right now. And when you've gotten a couple of punches in and someone's up against the ropes like it looked like the Texas Longhorns were, you've got to dig deep. Remember yesterday we talked a little bit about the Longhorns trailing going into that halftime at the TCU game? Remember what the coaches told us, that that was an opportunity for this young team to learn from their head coach, Mack Brown, that it's 60 minutes, not 30 minutes of football. It'll be interesting to see what sort of adjustments Mack Brown will make at halftime, and also whether they will be able to get Big Mo back on their side, or maybe just do rope-a-dope until the double zeros at halftime?
I don't know. We'll see here. By the way, a reminder, tonight on ABC, the SC Trojans and their high-powered offense on the road. They put their #1 ranking on the line up in Washington, up in Seattle against the Huskies. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines. McCoy on first down, rolls the pocket. He's got a man wide open, and he does not get the football to him. Jordan Shipley had broken open over the middle, and McCoy simply did not pick him up.
And he's hurt. And the way he's favoring that shoulder, it looks like his throwing shoulder that's hurt. John Hulick got a shot on McCoy, and Mack Brown knew. He told his team that they're going to come take some shots at our quarterback after knocking him out of the game last year. A clean tackle. He's just going to finish, and he puts that right arm down, Ron, and you see that all the time. When that elbow hits the ground, sometimes jams the shoulder up in there.
So it's 2nd down and 10. McCoy with an audible. Pass caught at the 48-yard line. Good for the first down by Nate Jones.
Well, shoulder didn't look like it bothered him on that throw. That ball came out nicely. Good tight spiral. Remember, the pinched nerve affected his shoulder last year more than his neck. That's what he worked so hard with the training staff and the weight staff to get the muscle strong around that nerve in his neck that shoots down the back of the shoulder and the back of the arm.
On first down, they rolled the pocket the other way this time. And did he get it complete? Caught out of bounds. Incomplete. Nate Jones was the intended receiver. Once again, Jack Arute.
Guys, let's go back. The injury last year in the K-State game to Colt McCoy was the sheath that surrounds the nerves that run through the shoulder, the neck, and down into the arm. He told us yesterday that for a long time, almost for 4 or 5 days, felt like his arm was asleep. Well, he went to work with strength and conditioning coach here, and they used rubber bands. Anybody that's been through physical therapy, they look innocuous, but he said it helped him build up his strength. He's added a little muscle, and maybe that's the way he's been able to fight through that big hit just one play ago.
Yeah, you're probably right on there, Jack. Pass batted down at the line of scrimmage.
Guess who? Ian Campbell.
Ian Campbell again.
When you look across this Wildcat roster and you see all of these great players like Ian Campbell and realize many of them were walk-ons at some point. Of course, that looked like it hit Ulatoski right in the back of the head. I don't know who you'd give credit there.
3rd down, and the line to make. They got to get it down to the Kansas State 42-yard line. K-State leads it 14-7, and Texas calls another timeout. Tomorrow on ABC, it's the 3rd race in the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup. Who can break away from the crowd? With Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson leading the way, it's time to separate the contenders from the pretenders. Catch all the championship drama in Kansas. Coverage begins at 1 Eastern with NASCAR Countdown tomorrow on ABC. Here are the standings. Jimmy Johnson is your pole sitter in Kansas.
Carl Edwards dropped down 25 points. He Failed a post-race inspection, so that will shake up the standings quite a bit with a 25-point shake-up.
3rd down and 10. Longhorns. Obanaya back in the ball game at tailback. McCoy got it complete. Lima Swede, 1st down Texas. Brian Baldwin trying to cover. 13 yards on the completion.
Excellent job by Lima Swede. Watch him fight, and then he'll come back to the ball, but he gets far enough by the sticks so that when he comes back to the ball, he still has 1st down yardage. Good swim move there on Brian Baldwin. They're going to give you that sometimes, that little hand where you slap and go over the top. Nice job by Swede.
On 1st down, steps up. Ball is almost intercepted, and McKinney wanted a flag on the play. And the truth of the matter is, Quan Cosby, the intended receiver, had to turn into a defensive back.
Yeah,
not good judgment on that play by Colt McCoy.
No, it's top receiver right here. And the defensive back was in position the entire time. He's reading the eyes of McCoy. As soon as the break comes,
boy,
McKinney does an excellent job, and give credit to Cosby because he had to turn and smack that ball down, or that was an easy interception.
That is for sure. Clock stops. 2 minutes 48 left until halftime. McCoy right over the middle, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, the tight end Finley, and there are flags deep in the secondary.
Well, it looks like they're going to call pass interference on Reggie Walker, the middle linebacker.
Pass interference by number 53 of the defense. It's a spot foul and an automatic 1st down.
Let's see as Walker.
You know what? As much as anything, pass interference was called. They could have called defensive holding.
Yeah. He had that left hand on
there. In the break.
Yeah.
As he made his break, you could see the jersey.
And he didn't need it there.
No.
He really didn't need that hand. He was in perfect position, and that's what the deep judge saw, was the backfield judge, that left hand, and that's why he called it. And that's a shame because he didn't have to put that hand there. He's in great shape.
Audible called by McCoy. Charles moves to the left side to pick up a blitz. Goes for the end zone. There's a man there, and it's caught for a touchdown. Quan Cosby. So Ryan Bailey to attempt the extra point for the Longhorns, trying to tie this game up, and he does. So with 2 minutes 34 seconds left until halftime, brand new ball game, tied at 14. Cosby has really been the man who has come through big time. He and Nate Jones both, with the injuries to Swede and also to Shipley.
Cosby just never gives up on this play. McCoy is rolling that way, but because of pressure decides to come back. And McKinney, the corner, gave up for just half a step. He took his eyes off of Cosby to go follow the quarterback, and that's when Cosby accelerated and got separation. And McCoy takes another shot after throwing this. Not too bad of a shot that time, and give credit to Eric Childs for pulling off a bit, but McCoy's been battered around a little bit in this ball game.
So 8 plays, 84 yards, a minute 19 seconds off the clock, and it's a 26-yard touchdown pass to Quan Cosby.
You hit it right on the head, Ron, with how much Cosby and Nate Jones had to step up early in the year because of all of the injuries, the suspension, etc. They had, coming into the season, what they thought was unbelievable depth at wide receiver, and all of a sudden they're at Central Florida. Lima Swede goes down. They're missing guys against TCU. And those guys really stepped up, and it pays off. Your quarterback has the confidence to make that type of throw, because that is a dangerous throw.
Hunter Lawrence with the kickoff. It's a spinner, taken at the 15-yard line. That's Johnson, and Johnson breaks it. Lawrence misses the tackle. He may be gone. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, 85 yards on the touchdown. Boy, the crowd has gone silent here for the Longhorns, and it's interesting. Lawrence's first 2 kicks today were 5 yards deep in the end zone. That hit at the 15-yard line.
Well, you see the difference in that the new rule this year, kicking from the 30, and coaches talked about it, gives more return possibilities.
Rossman with the extra point, and he's got it. And now with 2:22 to play, the new score: Kansas State 21 and Texas 14.
It's interesting when people asked Ron Prince what he planned and how he wanted to build the program, what would his blueprint be. Now remember that Ron Prince came to Kansas State from the University of Virginia. The blueprint that he wanted to build this program around was Virginia Tech, because he figured we'd get the same type of players that Virginia Tech got when Frank Beamer was building that program. It's a land-grant university like Virginia Tech, and Ron Prince has done an excellent job. They've been excellent in return games since Ron Prince got to Kansas State.
Let me give you a stat. Go back and look. James Johnson, his first kickoff return ever was against the University of Kansas. He took it all the way back for a touchdown, actually a little bit longer than this one right here. So he's not new to the end zone by way of kickoff returns.
And, of course, we mentioned earlier James Johnson was a high school teammate of Jamal Charles. And right now, the older high school teammate having a little bigger day.
Jared Parker will kick it off for Kansas State. Here comes the kick. This one is not going to reach the end zone. It'll be Cosby at the 4. Crowd wanting an answer. Cosby, 40, 45, and out to around the 50-yard line. 46 yards on the return. Coming up on the Cooper Tires halftime report, Reese Davis, Craig James, and Doug Flutie will have scores and highlights, including Maryland and Rutgers, a battle of the unbeatens in the Pac-10. And folks, if I just saw our monitor correctly, Colorado has just upset Oklahoma 27-24. I'm sure we'll see lots of highlights on that game, along with other things, coming up on the Cooper Tire halftime report. McCoy, that's going to be intercepted by linebacker Justin Rowland.
And that was a blitz, and McCoy is stunned. He's woozy. It was a blitz right up the middle. And just absolutely upended by Clayton Cox. Again, a clean hit. There is nothing dirty about this. Cox goes in with his shoulder, and McCoy falls hard on his shoulder and helmet.
So Kansas State on offense from their own 46. They swing to pass out. To the 50-yard line is going to be Petrie. Petrie we did not have on the 2 deep, nor the 3 deep for that matter, and we did not see him over at Auburn. And Texas with a player down at their own 47-yard line as McCoy is attended to on the sideline.
Right as he throws it, Ron, and he just got upended. And I see his chin strap constantly coming undone. I wonder if those buckles need to be tightened down a little bit. If those buttons pop off too easy, your helmet will move around. It'll come down on the bridge of your nose, which is one of the most painful things you'll ever feel. And we've seen that a couple of times with his chin strap.
2nd down and 5. Kansas State with an opportunity to crack this thing wide open. Pressure on the quarterback. Got it thrown complete, though. And Jordy Nelson still running with a stiff arm to the 33. It's going to be good for the 1st down.
How does a former walk-on safety know how to run with the ball so well? Boy, this Jordy Nelson has turned himself into a heck of an offensive player. What a great stiff arm.
Johnson, draw play, 30, 25. He's at the 20 and stepped out of bounds at the 18-yard line. That's good for a 15-yard gain.
Watch the block by Jordan Bador, the center. Just absolutely seals off the entire right side of the line. Just watch as just seals it off, lets Spexarth, the right guard, get up on the linebacker, and that just opened up a huge hole.
Freeman swings it out of the backfield. Petrie again, and he'll take it down to the 15-yard line. That'll stop. Nope, they said the clock will continue to run. And Jack, you got an update on McCoy.
Yeah, and it's going to take halftime before the athletic training staff will know for certain what the condition of Colt McCoy is. It's kind of a blessing in disguise. They want to get him into the locker room to be able to put him through a battery of tests. At the end of halftime, we'll give you a definitive update.
Okay, Jack. 2nd down. Looks for the end zone. Fade route is there, and it's well overthrown and incomplete. Daniel Gonzalez, the intended receiver, and it was Deion Beasley on the cover.
And now you're Kansas State staring at 53 seconds with 2 timeouts. The clock is not an issue. You've got plenty of timeouts. So I don't think you have to throw one to the 1st down. A field goal is fine here, Ron. Don't turn this ball over. I don't want to say play non-aggressive, but I think a draw is the call here, and then kick it.
3rd down. To pick up the 1st down, they need to take it to the Texas 8-yard line. Freeman, good protection. Over the middle, the ball is dropped by Johnson, and now somebody grabbed his arm, but if he catches that, he's free and he goes in. Very, very close.
Well, they sure have a lot of confidence in this young quarterback. He will throw it away occasionally, and I thought that was the perfect down for a draw, because this is not the worst thing that could happen, is try to get some points out of this drive.
33 yards on the attempt. Rossman from this distance is perfect. Good pass. Kick is up, and he has got it. So with 45 seconds showing on the clock, it is a 10-point margin for the Wildcats of Kansas State University.
And Colt McCoy is being led into the locker room, so you assume that Childs will come in. And with things out of sorts right now, would not be shocked if Texas runs the ball a couple of times and just gets up the tunnel. 2nd year in a row that Kansas State has knocked Colt McCoy out of the ballgame.
Well, he has taken some shots today. There's no question about that. So passing today, when you look at the numbers, Kansas State 15 of 23, and in 37 plays they have 166 yards. Everything else for the most part is even except the scoreboard. And a couple of interceptions have cost the Texas Longhorns 10 points.
One of them was a direct result. Ian Campbell with a great return and the block by his cornerback mate, helping him down the field. And this Texas crowd, they thought last year was a big upset. Of course, Texas at that time was number 4 in the country and undefeated. Now number 7 and undefeated. And Longhorns getting outplayed so far.
Here's Parker with the kickoff. Long driving kick. This is going to send Quan Cosby back 5 yards deep, and they will not return it. So we will see number 7, John Childs, coming in at quarterback. 45 seconds on the clock until halftime. Mac Brown has to be very, very concerned with this situation because even healthy, K-State was giving Colt McCoy trouble.
And you've got a running quarterback in the game, so I would expect, I don't even know if they would want to do some type of zone read because sometimes you can fumble those. Right now, the momentum so clearly on Kansas State. Be very conservative, get up the tunnel. Texas doesn't flinch in these situations. We heard Jack talk about TCU. They're down 10-0 at half. They won't flinch.
Quarterback draw. And Childs will be stopped at the line of scrimmage. Eric Childs, along with Reggie Walker, combining on the tackle.
And Kansas State, with 2 timeouts coming in, doesn't have enough to make Texas punt. That's why they're not using their timeouts.
Actually, he does not have to run another play. The 25-second clock has gone dark. It'll be interesting to see if they snap the ball at all. Game clock is down to 9, down to 8. So he took the snap, and they hand it off to Charles. And Charles will be tackled after a gain of about 4. So the 10-point lead by Kansas State, all coming off Texas turnovers. 1 an interception, a 41-yard return by Ian Campbell, and then the 33-yard field goal following another interception, and that on the part of number 51, Justin Rowland. Let's go down to the field, and Jack.
All right, Mac, what is your biggest concern at halftime? The condition of your starting quarterback or making adjustments to break this thing back in?
Well, it's 3 plays, 2 turnovers, 1 for a touchdown, 1 for 3 points, and a kickoff return by them, and that's good football by them, so we've got to play better. Other than that, it's an even ball game. In fact, we'd be ahead.
How concerned are you about Colt?
Oh, you're always concerned when a kid gets hurt. We just have, that's part of the game, and we'll just have to let our doctors determine whether he would play or not. If he doesn't, we'll play John's house.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, gentlemen. Our score at halftime, 24-14. Kansas State on top. We'll be joining Reese Davis, Craig James, and Doug Flutie at our New York studio for the Cooper Tires halftime report right after this.
Tools have evolved. The new lithium Ryobi One Plus tools work at full power twice as long with a battery that fits all your other One Plus tools. Ryobi One Plus. Pro features, affordable prices. You'll find them only at the Home Depot.
You're no Rich Prince.
Sorry. Rich Prince rewards begin at 2 kisses. To qualify, eligible. Additionally, the magic spell reserves the right to lock out the primary kiss giver from any and all. Kisses expire 6 seconds from date of pucker. All kisses are non-transferable.
Is this how your Cash Rewards card treats you? Introducing No Hassle Cash Rewards. Earn cash on every purchase everywhere, plus a 25% annual bonus.
Yeah, okay.
But you're just 1 kiss away. What's in your wallet?
The forces that made them fantastic will give rise.
Your encounter with a surfer could cause you to switch powers.
Come on! To a new kind of adventure. Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Own it Tuesday.
Oh, that is cool.
Heartburn hurts. For strong lasting relief, take Maximum Strength Zantac 150. 1 pill knocks out the pain. All day or all night. Heartburn? Attack it. Zantac.
Glad to have you with us on the Cooper Tires Halftime Report. Reese Davis alongside Craig James, Doug Flutie. I got a little running game here, got a little passing game, and as you'll see, perhaps the most important thing of all, the kicking game. We got plenty of things coming up. The blockbuster Saturday next week. took a major hit. We'll get to that in a little while. The headline game of the afternoon, Cal and Oregon, was supposed to be a shootout. That's what we expected. Offense is running up and down the field, but as it turns out, this 5-yard run by Jonathan Stewart, the only touchdown in the first half, but the Ducks at home with a 10-3 lead. Oklahoma and Colorado. Sudden Sam Bradford, redshirt freshman Joaquin Iglesias, Oklahoma up 7-0. It seemed as if the Sooners were pulling away behind Alan Patrick.
Right on cue. Same Sooner team we've seen so far this season. Alan Patrick running the ball extremely well. You saw the touchdown pass from Bradford. But wait a minute. Coach Stoops knows he can't look ahead yet. You got Dan Hawkins' boys.
Cody Hawkins, Dan's kid, firing for the end zone. He's got Dusty Sprague. We're tied at 24. The Colorado defense stiffened, and now Kevin Everhart to become a hero in Boulder. Toe meets leather, high enough, long enough, thin mountain air, good enough. 27-24, number 3 goes down. Their arch rival, the Texas Longhorns. Boy, they've got their hands full with Kansas State. Josh Freeman in front of Vince Young, who's at the game, finds Jordy Nelson for the touchdown. Then Vondrell McGee on a 4th and goal play, Doug.
4th down, they're going for a crucial situation. They know they're in a game, and they run it in for the touchdown. Texas is in a dogfight now with K-State.
And it might be reminiscent of last year when Colt McCoy was hurt. McCoy takes a big shot. Ian Campbell, pick 6, 41 yards, 14-7. Now, McCoy, that was not the play on which forced him out of the game. McCoy did stay in there and scramble around, buy a little time. He feels the Quan Cosby locked up at 14 in the second quarter, but hey, this thing not anywhere near over. James Johnson, the ensuing kickoff.
The ensuing kickoff, we've seen it happening time and time again now with big explosive players answering the bell on the road. Let's see a little high stepping from Coach Rod Prince. Man, Coach Prince was fired up.
And as I mentioned, Colt McCoy was a walk to the locker room. They were holding his arm gingerly again. He's taken a couple of shots in this game. It's what happened last year when Kansas State beat them in Manhattan 45-42.
I didn't say anything today. Didn't say a word. But Josh Freeman's got to play Texas every week.
Well, let me tell you what's going on here is, you're seeing that on any given Saturday, particularly this season, you better show up ready to play. And Texas has their hands full. There's no more helmet game for the Texas Longhorns. Kansas State used to look at their own helmets and say, hey, man, it's the Longhorns, we're going to lose. Not now.
And you know what it means? If this score were to hold up, the Big 12 showdown next week, Kansas and Kansas State upstaging Oklahoma and Texas. In the Big Ten, a couple of unbeaten teams, Michigan State and Wisconsin. Martin D'Antonio freely admitted this was going to be a measuring stick game for Sparty. And Wisconsin sort of slopped around through the early part of the season, still unbeaten, but Tyler Donovan finding Kyle Jefferson.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game, Wisconsin came out running the football down their throat. Now Tyler Donovan getting into the act with the play action pass, beautiful post route over the top.
21-14 game. These two teams were the ones going up and down the field. Short pass from Brian Hoyer. Long run, Devin Thomas.
On the road, Mark D'Antonio now has this team believing this is a talented football team. What a great difference and an impact D'Antonio has had on this football team.
Just about to go to the half, 3-point lead for Wisconsin. Maryland and Rutgers. Flutie, in our college football countdown show, called the upset. Said it would be Maryland over the Scarlet Knights, who played a very soft early schedule. Lance Ball going in. Maryland had the lead. Then Jordan Steffi finding Darius Hayward. Flutie, you look like a genius here.
Looked like it until the last minute of the half where Rutgers woke up.
Well, things did change. It's 14-10, and Mike Teal, the leader in the nation in passing efficiency. Tyquan Underwood, 4th in receiving yards per game. They hook up nicely. Teal's thrown for over 200. The Scarlet Knights in the top 10 with a 3-point lead. Clemson and Georgia Tech. Chan Gailey, his team has done 2 face plants in a row. 0-2 in the ACC, but they come through there and take advantage of the often faulty Clemson special teams. 3-0 at that point, but Georgia Tech gets the run from Tashard Choice. Hamstring looks good. 7-3. Georgia Tech has the lead on Clemson. What stuck out to you so far?
Well, there's been so much stuck out. We don't have time to go through it all, but you talk about Georgia Tech. They answer the bell. You talk about how they'd had a couple of bad games in a row. Now the ACC. What's going on over there? Matt Ryan and your guys at BC. Now we got to find out if they can hang in there. Defense, Rutgers defense.
Yeah, a couple of teams in top 10 lose. BC may move into the top 10.
They might. BC flying under the radar for a few weeks until they go to Virginia Tech late in October. Coming up on the Cooper Tires Halftime Report, we'll get you up to date on a couple of surprising results from the early part of the day. LSU didn't have the cakewalk it expected.
The Cooper Tires Halftime Report. Brought to you by Cooper Tires. Don't give up a thing.
So I hear you found a cure for the blur.
When's it happen?
Every Sunday. Post pattern, streaking into the end zone on national TV, no less.
The mirrors will clear you up.
Yeah. Now I can do my dance, baby. Oh yeah, bring it down.
Go, baby.
Cure for the blur. It's amazing.
It's the mirrors.
DLP HD TV. Millions of tiny mirrors take motion blur out of sports action.
Why is the University of Texas at Austin so special? Is it the academics, the rich cultural diversity? Is it the open minds and curious thinkers that inspire self-discovery? Yes. We're Texas. What starts here changes the world.
What makes a university a great university?
Now it's time for the Heisman Memory presented by Nissan. Fast, tough, elusive. These are the attributes that best describe the 2005 Heisman Trophy winner, Reggie Bush. The USC running back led the nation in all-purpose yards on his way to becoming the 7th player from USC to win the prestigious award. Bush cemented his Trojan legacy by helping USC win 2 national titles. Visit theheismanvote.com to cast your 2007 vote.
Welcome back to the Cooper Tires Halftime Report. Glad to have you along with us. I think it's time to go to the wristband, guys. No huddle time. LSU perhaps looking ahead to blockbuster Saturday next week, the showdown with Florida in the Superdome, taking on Tulane. 7-2 game, and Andre Anderson going in for the win.
Around the corner where you can break containment? What is this, LSU's defense? They forgot to show up today.
LSU, you see the penalties they had at this point in the third quarter. Already 13 of them that stalled drives. Matt Flynn to Terrence Tolliver.
LSU woke up right at the end of the half and responded to the score. When they got behind it, woke them up, came back, started playing football again.
Tigers pull away. Jacob Hester, a couple of touchdowns, 34-9. Mississippi State, South Carolina. Sly Croom's Dogs. This play turned the game around. Punt blocked by Eric Norwood. South Carolina gets it. And Chris Smelly hardly offensive to the old factory system.
Yeah, but you know, again, this is one of those plays where you get a chance to make it, and you do it down the field, and the old ball coach will be happy, ready for Thursday's game with Kentucky.
Gamecocks pull away late. North Carolina, Virginia Tech, Tyrod Taylor showing the sweet feet.
He's added some athleticism to this quarterback position and making them a threat offensively.
17-10. Illinois had lost 30 of its last 33 Big Ten games against Penn State at home. The freshman Aurelius Regis Benton.
Really strong is what he is with a stiff arm. Did it also with a pass reception. Very impressive day for the Illini and Ron Zook.
He's out of control. 27-20. Regis leading the way. Michigan and Northwestern. Chad Henne back. So is Mario Manningham.
Manningham, Arrington, Hart at tailback. Come on, just get this offense going again and leave Henne in there at quarterback, will you?
Henne and Ryan Mallett rotated for a while, but it was the senior coming through, finding Arrington there. Manningham had 10 catches. Michigan beats Northwestern. Notre Dame and Purdue. Curtis Painter, Dorian Bryant looked as if the Boilers were going to run away with this thing, but the Irish show a little offense.
Well, down 23-0, they come back and start to score. They had some good yards for the day offensively, but I think Purdue may have shut it down, Reese. You know, 23-0 may have shut it down a little bit.
Well, perhaps. They have Ohio State coming up next week on ABC. Notre Dame outgained Purdue on the day, so perhaps there's a little bit of optimism in South Bend. Our Cooper Tires poll question: how many games will Notre Dame win this season?
I'll let you go first, Doug.
Baby steps, you know. They took a couple baby steps today. The last 4 games of the season are their real opportunity. Navy, Air Force, Duke, and Stanford. 3 of those 4 I think they get. I think they get beat by one of those teams.
I'm going to say 4. I'll go with a 4.
You say 4. How many do you say?
I say 3.
But you see some causes for optimism. They looked like a functional offense, perhaps for the first time this season today.
Absolutely. They threw the ball efficiently at times. They're still not the most physical team in the world, and they look slow out there and outmatched, but they're taking those baby steps and making progress.
It's the first Saturday that we've had a chance to say anything positive about the Irish, right? I mean, because we've been piling on pretty good. I mean, and this has been
and deservedly so. They've earned the piling on.
They did. They had some yards they put out there. And so, you know, whether Purdue laid down or not, now they can talk about positive things with the Irish.
They look like they're trying to establish an identity, finally. You're watching the Cooper Tires Halftime Report.
Red one.
Sure you want this one?
Yeah, that one's good.
Yes!
eBay. Shop victoriously.
Make a mandate for Tuesday night at 8. Cavemen and carpoolers are awesomely great. You'll be laughing your head off and your wife won't understand, but that's just part of being a man. When you're a Tuesday night comedy fan.
Make a mandate with Cavemen and Carpoolers. Premieres Tuesday starting at 8/7 Central on ABC. Start here.
The Cooper Tires Halftime Report, brought to you by Cooper Tires. Don't give up a thing.
Saturday night football, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 on the West Coast. #1 USC hitting the road, going into Husky Stadium to take on a rejuvenated Washington program. Saturday night football on ABC. Looking at this one right now, Trojans have had trouble on the road.
You know that ancient word? Confusion? Yeah. That's what USC's defense has to do. They have to come out and somehow confuse with speed and scheme Jake Locker. If they do that and put some question and doubt in his mind, I like USC's chances of putting it to him.
I like their chances, too, of putting it to him. But Jake Locker is a heck of a quarterback. He's mobile. He can make things happen. But he needs a running game to take some of that pressure off him. Don't throw it all on Jake Locker.
Trojans 2 losses last year away from home against unranked Pac-10 opponents just like Washington. You're watching the Cooper Tires Halftime Report.
Nissan engineers know the backbone of any truck is its frame. That's why the Nissan Titan's frame is fully boxed. Unlike competitors' C-frames that are prone to flexing, our box frame is the strongest truck frame we've ever built. Just one more reason, it's the Titan of trucks. The new 2008 full-size Nissan Titan. Now get up to $3,500 Nissan cashback or 1.9% APR financing.
What are you working for? Is it the challenge? The deal? The all-day meetings? Or maybe it's all for something else. Whatever you work for, Monster works for you with powerful tools that deliver the best job match. Go to Monster today and find the job that works for you.
Monster works for me.
breathtaking vistas, wide open skies. This is Grandmere, Manhattan's only master-planned golf course community and Manhattan's premier address. Now your business can be part of this community. Grandmere Village is nearing completion with prime office, restaurant, and retail space for sale or lease. Make your business a part of Manhattan's fastest growing area. Contact Grandmere Development about Grandmere Village.
Save big during Ed Bozarth's construction sale. Can you believe it? A new Chevrolet for about $6 a day. 34 miles per gallon, 100,000-mile warranty. This car practically pays for itself in gas savings. Or choose a full-size 2007 Chevy Silverado for about $10 a day. Auto, cruise control, and air conditioning. And Chevrolet's 100,000-mile warranty. Don't miss Ed Bozarth Chevrolet's construction sale. Ed Bozarth Chevrolet, 3731 South Topeka Boulevard in Topeka.
Thank you.
As a state employee, you count on your health insurance to keep you healthy. But with healthcare costs on the rise, your premiums can be enough to make you sick. Preferred Health Systems understands how to control costs because it was born from Kansas doctors and hospitals. They give you access to one of the state's largest provider networks for up to $1,415 less. Preferred Health Systems helps keep you healthy at premiums you'll feel better about. No wonder they're clearly preferred.
You're watching 49 ABC KTKA Topeka. Ball on ABC presented by Best Buy. Well, as you can tell by looking at that camera right there, that Jack Arute did a very successful rain dance at halftime. And it's a 10-point lead for Kansas State. You see Colt McCoy on the sideline talking to his head coach, so I am assuming that's good news. K-State has to be credited with a totally outstanding first half, though.
Boy, they were great on defense, special teams, everything. And as we look at the highlights from that first half, it was a momentum shift that continued to go back and forth, and it tended to go the direction of Kansas State, although Colt McCoy made a great play back to Quan Cosby. The very next kick, Patton takes it the distance. Of course, Ron Prince running right along with him. That's what he wants to build this program on, is defense and special teams. But you talked about Colt McCoy. He got beat around a lot in that first half.
In fact, we've got a package here that shows some of the hits that Colt took, and they're all clean hits. They're just hard hits.
And we'll find out more in a moment what the prognosis is, but he was helped off the field. And, Ron, we noticed the chin strap, every time he got hit and went to the ground, his chin strap popped, and I'm not wondering if that helmet didn't come down on his nose. And you can break your nose in that situation. A lot of different things can happen. We'll find out more, but John Childs has been out there warming up quite a bit, the true freshman, so it may be Childs here in the second half.
Folks, we have had a torrential downpour throughout the first half. Not first half, but during the halftime of this ball game, and now it is raining even harder. As soon as the kickoff is completed here, we'll go down and check in with Jack Arute, because, I mean, it has seriously rained here in Austin, Texas for now about the last 25 minutes.
And the whole key for Kansas State defensively is who are they going to see? If they see John Childs at quarterback, it's almost going to be a complete run package with him at quarterback than if Colt McCoy comes out. So they'll have to be ready for which quarterback runs out there. But worth noting, last year Kansas State knocked McCoy out on the first drive and won up in Manhattan.
Here's the kick. It's returnable from the 4-yard line. It's Cosby. Quan Cosby going to be tripped up as he hits around the 29-yard line. Let's check in with Jack Arute. Jack?
Well, fellas, you named it. It's a frog swallower. That's what they call it in Texas, and I think that may be one reason why you will not see Colt McCoy. Looks like he is ready to go back out there, but with this kind of weather, as you alluded to, Ed, you may be better off with the youngster who can run. So we'll have to see who goes out. And who is it, Ed?
It's Colt McCoy. I'm shocked.
Well, he looked pretty good here on the sideline, showed no ill effects. In fact, all he wanted to do was keep his hands dry, and that's why he has that big towel.
Okay, thanks, Jack. We'll be coming to you often here. Stay dry if you can. I'm not sure that's possible right now, though. Here's Charles on a counter play, and he will be knocked out of bounds at around the 32-yard line. Now let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary.
Well, turnovers forced and points off of the turnovers 10, and then you add in that kickoff return. There's 17 points.
And you're sitting here at 24-14, and Mac Brown alluded to this talking to Jack on the way off the field. It's all about the big plays right now. And Texas has been in this position before. They are not going to panic. They were down 10-0 against Texas Christian on the road, Central Florida. They got tested. This team has been tested all year long.
Jamal Charles, short yardage. It'll be 3rd down. They'll need about 4 as Reggie Walker is at the bottom of that stack. Ron Prince and his ball club, an 85-yard kickoff return. Then a 41-yard pass interception return for a touchdown. And then another Colt McCoy interception. They turned it into field goal points with a 33-yarder by Brooks Rossman.
And Colt doing everything he can to try to keep his hands. It's raining so hard, I'm not sure that they've been able to keep those balls dry. If the ball is dry, it's usually advantage offense because the defense may slip on the break.
Here comes a blitz right up the middle. McCoy got a pass in and out of the hands of Swede. Lima Swede could not hold on to the football. So it'll be 4th down and punting time.
See if the ball comes out a little funny out of McCoy's hand. Looks okay, not as tight a spiral as normal, but Swede, was he slipping coming out of his break? It looked like he put on the brakes a little bit and didn't run through that ball.
Deion Murphy, one of the deep men back, along with Jordy Nelson. Longest punt today by Gerlin, 36 yards. This one off the side of his foot. This one may not go 20 yards. It is out of bounds on the near sideline, right into the Texas bench. And the official is walking down. Let's see where he's going to spot it. He is still walking, and it will be on the Texas side of the 50-yard line at the 48. A 13-yard punt. And let's go down and check in quickly with Jackaroo.
Yeah, let's update you. Colt McCoy may be cleared to play, but Beasley is not. He is out for the game. I talked to Ron Prince when he came out. I said, what did you tell your team at the half? He said, I reminded them of those 17 points that they game on superior defense and superior special teams play. He said, I also told them to expect more of the same in the second half. He challenged his team, guys.
Well, they're up by 10 and a great way to start the second half. The ball across midfield. Straight ahead with the running play. Derry will be there to make the tackle along with Bobineau on James Johnson.
Something that Mac Brown was very fearful of was the punting game. Kansas State very good in the kick game. They have the leading punter in the Big 12, and he said, we can't lose the field position battle in punting. And that punt by Gerlin, not a good start to the second half.
Second down and 10. Josh Freeman blitz off to corner. It is caught and tackled for a loss at the 49. James Johnson made the reception.
Ron, the change by Texas defensively, I think that Kansas State has not answered that offensively. They're still trying to go to stretch the field horizontally, get people in space and make people miss. With a wet field, I think they're going to need to start using Murphy and Nelson down the field some more. Run some flies. You've got one-on-one coverage. See if you can't beat them. You know that Freeman's got the arm to get it to him.
Well, let's see what they come up with here on 3rd down and about 12 yards. Pressure is on. Almost lost the ball. Aaron Lewis makes the tackle, and how in the world Josh Freeman held on to the football, I don't know. He was juggling it as he was being hit.
When he turned it to go to throw it to his back, coming out of the backfield, the ball will slip right out of his hands. He's very lucky he was able to hold on to that because Lewis was right on him as he spun that. That would have been a humongous turnover for Texas.
So now it's punting time, and the new line of scrimmage is the 42-yard line. Rayer's kick, driving spiral, and this is going to reach the end zone. So let's take a timeout. 11:47 left in the 3rd period following that 58-yard kick. Kansas State continues to lead by 10.
You'll love this. Watch. make bigger, better.
Well, it's fast, it's sharp, it's big. But they got rules.
It's amazing.
It's the mirrors.
DLP HD TV. Millions of tiny mirrors make the biggest pictures better.
Good morning, NFL fans. It's Dick's Sporting Goods Fan Friday. So suit up with authentic Reebok NFL apparel and show your true colors. Every Friday this season, be prepared for fierce rivalries. Use every drive, every bump and run to go the distance. Wear your team out with authentic Reebok NFL apparel. Dick's Sporting Goods Fan Fridays.
Nissan Titan is a strategic vision total quality award leader. It's also the only truck tough enough to deliver college football's most coveted award. The Heisman, brought to you by the Nissan Titan.
Most families go to Hawaii to get away from home. We're going to Hawaii to build a family a home. The 2-hour Extreme Home season premiere from Hawaii tomorrow, 7/6 Central on ABC. Start here.
So we are back in Austin, Texas. Very wet fans, but they've stayed. They're hardy souls, and they want to see their Longhorns come from behind and win over K-State. Right now, the Longhorns have got a lot to say grace over. Jamal Charles, left side. They're going to wrap him up the minute he gets the ball. Justin Rowland. They have not allowed Charles, his longest run of the day, 12 yards. They have not allowed him to get that burst, which he's capable of, and just leaving everybody behind. And one of the reasons that Kansas State, Tim Tibesar, the new defensive coordinator, and Ron Prince decided to go to the 3-4 was because they wanted 4 linebackers on, and they immediately talked about, now you've got to find 2 middle linebackers. And they knew that Justin Rowland going into his senior year would fill that role, and he's had a wonderful game this afternoon.
He's got 7 tackles. McCoy right over the middle, ball is tipped and incomplete. Jermichael Finley, the tight end, was the intended receiver.
And Justin Rowland defending. In this new age of spread offense and spread option offense, you go to the 3-4, you now have 8 speed athletes on the field. So adding that extra guy, they have kind of a quasi-strong safety they'll roll in there, Courtney Herndon, and the speed starting to pay off on the field for Kansas State defensively. They played, listen, the competition wasn't great coming into this game, but they're playing very well against Texas.
On 3rd down, pressure from the outside. McCoy turns the corner, gets the pass away, gets knocked down, and it's caught by Shipley. Shipley needs a block, gets a move out to the 50-yard line. 31 yards.
It's nice to have your roommate back. Jordan Shipley missed a couple of weeks with a hamstring injury. Colt McCoy and Jordan are roommates. Another broken play for Colt McCoy. I wonder, Ron, if that wasn't a nose injury or something like that, not a head injury, because he doesn't look woozy. I was concerned when he got up, but he looks fine. The way McCoy is moving around, he takes another shot and gives up his body, but he does not look like the same guy that went up the tunnel at the end of the half.
Ian Campbell with that hit on the quarterback just as the ball was delivered. So it's 31 yards. That is the longest gain of the day by Texas. Fade route, far sideline, single coverage. Swede cannot hold on. McKinney on the cover. And I tell you, Limas has had a couple of opportunities today, and he has not been able to gather it in.
And McKinney does not quit on the play. There was one earlier in the first half that McKinney almost could have been a fumble. But Swede goes up, and McKinney's right there to knock it out. And Swede's just got to get that ball locked away a little sooner.
John Childs checks into the backfield for the Texas Longhorns, number 7. So you have quarterback Colt McCoy and quarterback John Childs in the ball game. And that's Colt McCoy, the quarterback, split wide to the left.
Childs, option play, cuts it back up into the middle, spins once. He's going to take it to the 44-yard line. It'll be third down. Eric Childs defensively for Kansas State.
John Childs, a young man who didn't play a ton of quarterback in high school, didn't play exclusively at that position until he was a senior at Summit High School in Dallas, Texas. And so they're going to use him a bunch of different ways. He was a wide receiver, a running back, so very comfortable getting outside of the pocket.
John Childs comes to the sideline. It is third down Longhorns. They need to take it to the K-State 38-yard line to keep the drive going. Chris Obanaya in at tailback, number 3. McCoy spins, going to have to run it. He'll have the first down, and it's going to be tackled at the 31 by Justin Rowland. Gain of 13. Rowland made the tackle. It was John Hulick who had a shot and missed it.
I've always felt this way. The toughest guy on your team should be your quarterback. And if Colt McCoy had to be helped off the field at the half and comes out making runs like that, that's something you can rally around.
Pressure on McCoy, and is going to be sacked at the 25-yard line. Well, McCoy has really taken a beating today.
And Adam Ulatowski, the right tackle who just came back. They've had some injuries on that offensive line as well.
And let's go down and check in with Jackaroo.
Well, Ed, if there was an injury to Colt McCoy's nose, it did not need medical attention because there's no bandages, there's nothing there. But as I watch Colt McCoy feed off the crowd here, it's reminiscent of a game in Lincoln, Nebraska, when a quarterback for the Texas Longhorns got knocked silly to the point where many people thought he had a concussion. He went to the sidelines at the half. They worked on him. He came back, and he led the Texas Longhorns to a come-from-behind victory over the Nebraska Cornhuskers. It's the same quarterback that some of the coaching staff compare Colt McCoy to. We talked about it in the first half. Major Applewhite.
And we know how the fans were so fond of Major Applewhite because of that toughness. He was a very good quarterback, but I think a school like this and fans like this really want to get behind a tough guy who will fight. And I think Colt McCoy is doing exactly what Jack is talking about. He's winning. Listen, he played so well last year, but he's winning a lot of fans because of his toughness.
Adam Ulatowski coming off, being helped off the field. You could see he's such a large human being. The trainers had trouble getting him up off the turf. He is 6'8". They say 305. He has been injured, came back for this ball game here, and Chris Hall is coming replacing him. And Chris is the man. He is only a sophomore. Chris has had to play every position on his offensive line so far this year because they don't have many tackles. Ball is tipped in the air, knocked away, and getting a hand on it was Mano, number 96.
Well, Kansas State's defensive line has done an excellent job the entire game of when they're not getting pressure, reading the quarterback. You always talk about defensive backs when they're in zone, reading the eyes of the quarterback, but the defensive line has to do that as well. You don't want the guys giving up on their pass rush, but if they're in a position where they're not going to get there, start reading the eyes, start trying to move into the throwing lanes. And Kansas State has blatted, I believe, 3 or 4 balls down, one that was intercepted, returned for a touchdown.
Third down. You got to take it to the 21-yard line. Kansas State leads by 10. McCoy steps up. Pressure is on. Lobs it. Got a man there. It is caught for the first down by Finley, and he takes it inside the 10 to the 6. First and goal, Longhorns.
Well, Finley's a guy that they've played last year as a true freshman, 6'5", going up against John Hulick, who's 5'11", and he just looks at McCoy in trouble. This is not the route that was called. He had hooked up, and he runs right by Hulick, and good touch on the ball by McCoy, putting it up for the 6'5" Finley. Excellent job of McCoy staying alive. He's done it the entire drive.
Cobb comes in the ball game at fullback.
Jamal Charles. Handoff right at the middle. 5-4, 3-2-1. Touchdown, Texas. Antoine Cobb, number 24, with the paving block. I know the extra point attempt is still to come, but I would wager to say we're not going to see a kick that is returnable on this kickoff. It's going to be on the ground.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because James Johnson burned Texas and burned them badly.
And that's exactly that, the momentum that's going back and forth. Now it's back with Texas. You don't want to take the risk.
Here's Bailey with the extra point attempt, and he's got it. So we'll go to break, and as we go to break, Jamal Charles on a 5-yard touchdown run. The new score, Kansas State 24 and Texas 21. Charles to pay dirt.
Only the Nissan Titan has a Utilitrack cargo system and the longest crew cab bed in its class. You choose the tie-down points, you choose the angle. Because Nissan thinks when you put something in your bed, it should stay there. The new 2008 full-size Nissan Titan, the Titan of trucks. Now get up to $3,500 Nissan cash back or 1.9% APR financing.
Most people go through life following Plan A. It's predictable, it's expected, it's routine. But what if you're not a Plan A kind of person? Welcome to Plan B from Brother. Our new color laser printers and all-in-ones are for those who make the better choice, not the obvious one. With more performance, more speed, more affordability. So make the smarter decision. We call it Plan B. Brother, at your side.
Few, the proud, the Marines.
This presentation of college football brought to you by DOP HD TV. DOP is the official ESPN on ABC HD telecast sponsor of college football. The Nissan Titan, proud presenter of the 2007 Heisman. And eBay, shop victoriously.
So we are back. Bevo looks as though he didn't appreciate getting wet the way he did at halftime. 10 plays, 80 yards, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And Colt McCoy at least 3 scrambles and key plays to keep the drive alive.
Well, coming back out at halftime, neither Jack nor myself thought that Colt was going to go. It looked like Childs was warming up. McCoy was standing over there by himself. Didn't look like he was going to play. Came out and played great on that drive and did not look like he was concerned for his health at all.
This is a spinner. Lawrence at the 17 comes to Johnson. And Johnson, oh my goodness, what a hit. And he is popping right up. Wow.
Roderick McElroy with a nice hit on special teams. And you start to feel the momentum. Now the question becomes, Ron Prince talks about all the time how his team doesn't blink. They like these big games. They don't get too concerned. But right now, it's a totally different beginning of the second half than the end of the first half. And how will Josh Freeman, his emotionally neutral quarterback, react?
Leon Patton is the tailback, but it's an empty backfield. They roll the pocket. Pressure on the quarterback. Delivers complete to Nelson. And Jordy will step out of bounds at around the 33. That is his 9th catch of the afternoon.
And one thing we have not seen a lot from Kansas State is vertical routes. We've seen them run a couple, but we have not seen Josh Freeman throw them. Now you're in a second and short situation. Maybe a play action, and we saw Deion Murphy at Auburn. This young man, 87, can flat out fly. He's up at the top of your screen.
Freeman, short drop. Quick pass to Murphy. And Murphy will be tackled with a nice open field stop at the 35-yard line.
Kansas State has got to start taking some shots over the top. Texas has, all they're doing is just walking up. Look, there is no cushion. That's 2 yards. That's about 6. They're ready for these screens. They're playing it very aggressive with the safety rolled over the other side. They've got to start throwing some vertical routes.
Well, one of the things that they've done, they've bought their quarterback some time, and they've also protected him. He has not been hit today. 3rd down. They need about 2.5 yards for the first. Pass right over the middle, and it's Nelson again. Now in double figures with catches. 12 yards on the play. Marcus Griffin on the tackle. Let's go down to Jackaroo. Jack?
Well, as we watch this performance by the sophomore quarterback, Josh Freeman, we asked him earlier in the week where he felt he had made the biggest improvement. He's been very outspoken, guys, saying that last year he made a lot of freshman mistakes, and if there was one thing that he worked on, it was the fact that last year in pressure situations he might panic. As I watch him during this series, you see that unemotional approach, and he isn't panicking at all. He's just connecting.
Well, he is that. Blitz coming up the middle by Texas. Pass is caught by Doherty Nelson again. This time just inside the 35-yard line. Eric Jackson on the tackle. It's good for 18 yards.
And that calmness permeates the entire team, not just the offensive huddle. Quarterbacks get entirely too much credit when things go well, and they get entirely too much credit when things go poorly. But there is no doubting that they're the focal point of a team. And when you have a guy like Josh Freeman and guys like Jordy Nelson, former walk-on seniors, making plays, everyone's going to rally around that and not get too bent out of shape on the road.
First down from the Texas 33-yard line. Pass overthrown, intended for Gonzalez. Dion Murphy, actually, the intended receiver. I beg your pardon.
And that's really the first throw that was inaccurate. He's made a couple of throws that he maybe shouldn't have made, but that one's the first one that really got away.
It also was enough of a drop that they had a shot at it. But I contend to you, Texas, with exception of the one running play, they haven't hit the kid yet today. That's what they've got to do defensively, stir him up a little bit.
Haven't been able to do it.
Pressure coming from in the middle. Pass falling away is knocked away and incomplete. Nice defensive play by Ryan Palmer.
And now you're behind the chains at 3rd and 10. It's a lengthy field goal from here. And this ball probably should have just been thrown out of bounds. You got 2 defenders over there. You lob it up. But now Josh Freeman in a situation. And Ron, they have moved the pocket a lot to get him out of the way of the rush. I wouldn't be surprised if they roll him to the right here.
3rd down. 3rd down and 10. Kansas State leads it by 3. Texas shows blitz. They come right up the middle. They want to throw a screen. He's got no place to go, and the tackle is missed, and he throws the ball away. Boy, Bobineau missed him.
And this is a tough decision. This would be a lot further than Brooks Rossman's career long of 43 yards. And even though they're trotting him on, it took Ron Prince a second to decide if he wanted to do this. The problem here with a 51-yarder is sometimes you drive the ball and it can get blocked.
51 yards will be the attempt, and 43 is his longest from the near hash mark. Does not have the distance. He did not hit that one well. That was not really close, and will take a timeout. So the Texas Longhorns, trailing by 3, get the football back after a defensive stop. K-State 24, Longhorns 21. Can Texas put it back in the end zone? Come back with us and see.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
Few relationships in life are more important than the one between you and your Michelin tires. Rugged, long-lasting Michelin truck tires. Michelin, a better way forward.
I thought it was crazy feeding in the fall. I always feed in the fall, but it's the best time.
Feed your lawn in the fall.
Fall, fall, fall. What the fall feeding does is build the roots.
If you feed in the fall, that's when the roots sort of want nutrition.
I use Scott's Winter Guard. It builds your lawn from the roots up. The stronger and thicker your roots are, the stronger and healthier your lawn's going to be.
Keeps it strong through winter, keeps it strong the whole year long.
The best time to feed is when it'll do the most good.
There's no substitute for the fall feeding, trust me. It is the best thing you could do for your lawn. I give my lawn Scott's Winter Guard.
So I hear you found a cure for the blur.
When's it happen?
Every Sunday. Post pattern. Streaking into the end zone on national TV, no less.
The mirrors will clear you up.
Yeah. Now I can do my dance, baby. Oh, yeah, bring it down.
Go, baby.
Cure for the blur. It's amazing.
It's the mirrors.
DLP HD TV. Millions of tiny mirrors take motion blur out of sports action.
Oh, game day.
Yeah, like your breakfast.
Birdwood, your new car's rolling.
It's not stolen, I just bought it.
It's gonna hit that truck.
There's no need to swear. Hot car, huh?
It's on fire.
Do you have new car replacement? Call Allstate to sign up today. Are you in good hands?
Pushing Daisies premieres Wednesday at 8/7 Central on ABC.
And we're back in Austin. The rain has stopped completely after about a 25-minute downpour. Here's the Allstate standings review. AP Week 5. SC, fine. LSU, fine. Oklahoma has been upset by Colorado. West Virginia lost to South Florida. Wisconsin is beating Michigan State, and Cal is losing to Oregon right now, 17-10. Going to have a lot more changes on that board as well. This could be a double pass. It was thrown back behind to Childs, and Childs is going to be tackled short of the original line of scrimmage. That's Garvin with a nice defensive play.
And they had Obaniah, the running back, wide open down the right sideline. He's going to sneak over and come over here, but because Childs gets some pressure, he's not able to throw it. The safety started seeing it late and getting over there, but I don't think they would have made this play had the ball been able to be thrown.
Well, the cut block failed, and then the whole play just kind of blew up on him. So it is 2nd down and 12. Just over 5 minutes to play, third quarter. Kansas State by 3. Running play straight ahead. That will get them back to the original line of scrimmage. Down to Jackaroot again.
Well, Ron, we saw that upset that the Colorado Buffaloes put on the Oklahoma Sooners. By design, the stadium staff here knew at halftime what that score was. Now, normally, you know, especially in the Big 12, they would post scores on the scoreboards. They consciously elected not to do so. Thus far, this crowd here knows nothing about the upset by Colorado.
Okay, and Jack, I think I can give you a cue. If Texas goes in front in this ball game, you will hear it very quickly.
It'll be posted everywhere, boys.
Start to spread the word down there, Jack. I'm sure it'll spread fast if you tell about 10 people.
Ball is tipped and intercepted by McKinney. Justin McKinney.
Well, Mo Lattimore, the defensive line coach for Kansas State, needs some credit for how well he's coached up his defensive line today on how to get in the throwing lanes for Colt McCoy and read his eyes. Colt tends to lock in on some people, and he'll take you to where he's going. He's looking left, and that ball's tipped because of good pressure in the middle.
Manu is the man who got a hand on it.
Moses Manu, a senior. Looks like they're going to review this.
Well, as you could see in our replay, the young man did a good job of making sure his hands were under the football. That's an interception, I believe. Right there. See, he gathers it and brings it up into his body.
I agree. That was a really nice play by McKinney because that ball could have come out and hit the ground. Should be a fairly quick review.
So the official announces, which we were unable to hear, that the play will stand as called on the field. So it is an interception. Third turnover by the Texas Longhorns. 3 interceptions. One cost them a touchdown on a return by Campbell. The other interception, a 33-yard field goal. We'll see if K-State gets points on this one.
And give the Kansas State coaching staff credit. They had a week off. They were last in the country in penalties. They've been great today. They were 97th in the country in turnover margin. 3-0 so far in this game.
Johnson got to be hit and knocked out of bounds after a gain of about 4. Time permitting, stay tuned for the Dell post-game report. Reese, Craig, and Doug will have scores and highlights from around the country.
And now, this is where a quarterback needs to grow and learn about clock management. Josh Freeman should be talking to all of his receivers, all of his running backs, saying, guys, if you get near the sideline, try to stay in bounds. We're on the road. We're up 3. We're on the plus side of the field. Let's start shrinking this clock. Even though it's in the third quarter, you've got to start thinking in those terms.
Texas creeping up. They come in a middle blitz. Freeman has to hurry. Gets the pass complete to Johnson. And out of the backfield, he has been devastatingly good today. On special teams, he got an 85-yard kick return for a touchdown. And that play right there had disaster written all over it with the blitz coming. Very calmly throws it for the completion. And then Johnson adds plus yardage on the end of the play.
Freeman is so impressive. Remember, we met with the Auburn coaches before that ball game, and they did a study last year on what Josh Freeman did against blitzes. He was 67% as a true freshman when you blitzed him completion percentage. That's incredible.
Here comes an audible right here on first down. It's going to be flea flicker. They get it back to him. Throw for the end zone and overthrown. Jordy Nelson, the intended receiver. Texas was not fooled by that one. In fact, Griffin, I thought Marcus was going to have a shot at intercepting it because he had snipped it out so well.
And if you go to last year's game, Nelson's going to cut this thing off. It felt like he could have run that more vertical, but last year in Manhattan, Kansas State pulled out all kinds of trick plays, and Dwayne Akina and Larry McDuff spent all week working on their safeties at staying home. Let the front 7 and 8 do their job. Don't bite on those fakes.
Second down and 10. Short drop pass over the middle is dropped by Nelson, and that time he got whacked really hard by Ryan Palmer. Last season, when you look at Kansas State's trick plays against the Longhorns, Leon Patton hit Cedric Wilson for a touchdown. This was a halfback pass. They tried one earlier in this ball game and were unsuccessful with it. And then this season against Auburn, it was Jordy Nelson getting a backwards pass, and he'll throw to Patton in the corner of the end zone. Patton looked like the first guy out to practice.
And we saw that exact play in the first half, and Texas stayed home, and they could not throw the ball.
This time they've got Johnson and Patton in the backfield. Third down and 10. Longhorns show blitz. They come up the middle. Pressure on the quarterback, and it's thrown incomplete. And for one of the very few times today, big Josh Freeman got knocked on his keister after delivering the football.
And Mac Brown has to be very happy with the quick change defense to force Kansas State after the interception to have to attempt.
Well, Rossman's going to come back in, and this one will be an attempt of 44 yards, which also would be a new career long for him. The last one he did not hit well. Got plenty of distance on this one, and the young man has it. 44 yards. That's a new long for Brooks Rossman. So at 3:52 left in the third quarter, the new score is Kansas State 27 at the Texas Longhorns 21.
Rotten Prince going and talking to his offensive line. That's his background. So trying to figure out why that pressure is now starting to get to Freeman that wasn't getting to him earlier in the game.
And for a look at our Monday night game, here's Mike Tirico.
They've made the biggest statement to start the 2007 season. Tom Brady, Randy Moss, and the Patriots are perfect. The high-powered offense of Carson Palmer and Chad Johnson awaits in Cincinnati. Patriots Bengals at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN's Monday Night Football.
Our situation, Saturday afternoon football on ABC. It is 27-21. Kansas State underdogs in this one by 2 touchdowns. And boy, they have just led the entire way. Ball game has been tied a couple of times, but it has been K-State who has taken the next stride to go in front in this ball game.
And both of these coaches talk about how neither of their teams get too down or too up, and they're very calm and just continue to make plays. And we've seen that. A lot of times that's kind of cliche and lip service, but Mac Brown and Ron Prince, they're right on the spot with these two clubs.
Jared Parker prepares to kick it off for Kansas State. Quan Cosby, the deep man for the Longhorns. And this one is returnable. Going to come down at the 7-yard line. Cosby right up the middle, near sideline. Breaks the tackle and is finally going to be pushed out of bounds across the 40-yard line. Reese Davis, what do you got for us, young fella?
Ron, what I have, our nominee for the AT&T ESPN All-America Player of the Week, and it's Andre Woodson of Kentucky. Woodson threw 5 touchdown passes in a 45-17 win over Florida Atlantic. You can text vote 87654 on your AT&T wireless phone to vote.
Well, Reese, the interesting thing about that, basketball, of course, is such a huge thing up there, but everybody's talking football in Lexington, Kentucky these days.
Well, and good for Kentucky for sticking with Rich Brooks.
Yeah.
What a wonderful coach. I competed against Coach Brooks when he was at Oregon. He's a great coach. I'm glad they stuck it out with him.
McCoy to Jermichael Finley, the tight end, and it'll go for no gain whatsoever. Down to Jackaroo.
Well, fellas, let's update you on the offensive line for the University of Texas Longhorns. Adam Ulatowski, you saw, was escorted off the field last series. He is out for the game, so look for 71 Chris Hall to fill in at that right tackle position. He's done it before.
You know, Jack, the interesting thing, of all the positions on this football team that did not have depth, the only one was at tackle. And I remember Max saying after camp was over, we got to pray that we don't lose a tackle. And right off the bat, they lost a tackle. Jamal Charles is the ball carrier. He's going to take it for about 5.5, almost 6 yards. And here's what they lost off the NFL, or off the line from last year to the NFL.
And with Studdard and Senline, you had guys who seemed like they started for about 15 years here. So you lost that consistency. Luckily, they get Dockery back, who blew out his knee last year. But Hall has to be the swing man against Central Florida. Hall played 4 of the 5 offensive line positions. The only one he didn't play was left tackle, and of course that's because that one's manned by Tony Hills, who's been able to remain healthy this season.
Blitz coming from K-State. Quick release. The ball overthrown. I think because it was so far overthrown that there was no flag, but there definitely was contact on Jordan Shipley by McKinley. You know, the difficult thing for this offensive line, number 55, Cedric Dockery, the junior out of Garland, as we take one more look at the play.
Yeah, I think that was uncatchable.
Yeah. There's a look at Doc right there as he's coming over to the sideline. Severe knee injury last year. Had to undergo surgery. They've been limiting his number of plays. It's had to go up because of all these other injuries. New punter in the ball game for Texas. It's Moore. Ball is caught by Nelson at the 10. Far sideline, and 25-30. He's got a convoy. Jordy Nelson reverses his field, and he's going to score. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, 89 yards on the return.
Talking earlier about Ron Prince wanting to build his program around the model of Virginia Tech. Last year they had 3 kick returns for touchdowns. Third one this year, second in the game. Leon Patton, of course, with the kickoff return. And any momentum Texas is getting is being answered with an exclamation point by Kansas State.
Rossman with the extra point, and he's good. And a semi-hush coming over Darrell K. Royal Memorial Stadium. Let's take one more look at this 89-yard punt return for a touchdown.
Well, this will blow the average way up for Kansas State. They came in the game averaging well over 20 yards per punt return. A missed tackle right at the start. How many times do you see that? When people think they're tackled, they slow down a little bit. But this was set up beautifully by Kansas State. Plenty of blockers down the field and an excellent job right there at the end. Drew Kelson was there to make the tackle, and watch what Nelson does. He runs to the outside, and as soon as Kelson goes to cut, he cuts right behind him. Excellent field vision. This young man, he's just been incredible in the open field.
You know, the amazing thing about Jordy Nelson, we talked about how great he was against the University of Auburn in that opening ball game. And he is proving again here today, you don't have to be a 10-200 meters guy. He is smart with the football and his vision. He got over behind his blockers and then just weaved and used them. I'm not saying he's slow, because he's certainly not, but he also is extremely wise with the football.
Well, he's such a humble guy. It was funny, Deion Murphy, who did the intro of the players, said he's the people's champ. Well, he's also got another nickname, the Pride of Riley County. He comes from a tiny little town in Kansas. He's such a humble guy, and it kind of embarrasses him. That's why Deion Murphy does it. Has a little fun with him, giving him these nicknames. But now you see why.
This is a tough pill to swallow for DeLoss Dodds, the athletic director here at Texas. He's from Riley, Kansas. Obadiah on the return, and he'll take it back just across the 35. Now it's time for our Aflac trivia question. This week's question: Texas football has 4 national championships. What team in Texas has won the most national championships? I know the answer, and I will not cheat. I don't have to look in the book.
A clue. Yeah, I always look in the book. I always cheat.
I can tell you this. Their head coach's first name is Eddie. You'll still not figure it out. No, you're not going to get it.
Are we talking all divisions here? Can I get that much of a clue?
Oh, all Division I's, yeah. Pass is tipped and intercepted. That's Courtney Herndon. And now the Boo Birds are out. The sun is out, and so are the Boo Birds.
A lot of people wonder when you see this many tips in a game.
Manu is the man who got
2 in a row for him.
Well, it says something for their defensive coaches. Keep your hands up, because he throws the ball low.
Well, and he's using his eyes to take the defensive line over there. I've noticed today that McCoy has really spent a lot of time looking in the direction that he's going to throw. And I mentioned earlier that the defensive backs are not the only ones reading the eyes. And that's the #1 way a ball will get tipped a lot at the line of scrimmage is if quarterback spends a lot of time locking in on his target, because that defensive line reads it just like everybody else.
That's a career high 4 interceptions for Colt McCoy. Straight ahead running play. A couple of missed tackles in the middle. There's James Johnson. Will take it down inside the 25-yard line. Jared Norton, number 11, a sophomore out of Rowlett, Texas, on the tackle.
Obviously talking to Greg Davis, the offensive coordinator. And coaches talk all the time. One of the hardest things to do is talk about tipped passes. Everyone thinks, oh, you can do drills, you can do everything else. The #1 thing that I'm seeing is McCoy just has to stop taking the defensive line in the direction he's going to throw.
Some of the faithful from Manhattan who are down for this ball game as a running play hit behind the line of scrimmage and knocked down for a loss. And that has not happened a great deal today, as 36 Lamar Houston is the man who's there to make the tackle. The offensive line for K-State has kept that from happening.
And I think this is the situation right here. 34-21, you're already in field goal range where you take that vertical shot. Maybe fake like you're going to throw a bubble screen to Murphy, because that's who you've thrown it to, and see if Jordy Nelson can get by somebody.
It's a tough field here right now, because both the defender and the offensive player are going to be looking into a very bright sky. Screen pass right side. This is Patton. Patton inside the 20. He's going to have the first down for K-State, and they'll continue to move the clock and the ball. However, that should be the final play of the third quarter.
At that time, James Franklin, the offensive coordinator, had Nelson and Murphy over to the right, and they cleared out. And Leon Patton's left there one-on-one against a linebacker. Patton's the speedier of the two running backs for Kansas State. Mentioned earlier in the game, he's a 10-200 guy, so nice call by James Franklin.
So the clock down to 5, down to 4. And that is the end of the third quarter. So let's take a timeout as we head to the final 15. Kansas State 34-21. A presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You're watching ESPN on ABC.
HD?
HD.
Thoughts?
Lots of thoughts. LCD, plasma.
Vivo surround sound, head spinning.
Deep breath. Likes?
Cowboy explosions, touchdown robots.
Cooking, tearjerkers, crime dramas.
Sing-along musicals.
This system, LG Home Theater, perfect fit. Mechanically inclined?
Emergency room inclined.
We install.
We pledge a complete home theater experience and now save $200 off an LG HD TV with installation. That's HD done right at Best Buy.
Nissan Titan is a strategic vision total quality award leader. It's also the only truck tough enough to deliver college football's most coveted award. The Heisman, brought to you by the Nissan Titan.
Wednesday at 8/7 Central, everyone will be buzzing. Pushing Daisies is the best-looking show on any network. Makes you want to ooh and ah and giggle on everyone's top 10 list. Pushing Daisies premieres in only 4 days. Wednesday at 8/7 Central on ABC.
The 07's gotta go at Dick Edwards Ford in Manhattan. We're making room for the 08s arriving daily. That means big savings on all 07s at Dick Edwards Ford in Manhattan. Fusion. 07's gotta go. Mustang. 07's gotta go. Ranger. 07's gotta go. F-150. 07's gotta go. And 07's gotta go. Huge selection, the lowest prices, and the one dealer you can count on. The 07's gotta go. Dick Edwards Ford in Manhattan.
My house. Party's over, bud. Hit it. What's going on?
Me and my bro Spicy Chicken Crisp are just, entertaining.
That friend of yours is a menace.
Why, because he's a buck on the value menu like me?
Where is that punk?
Upstairs.
With Daddy's little girl? Ugh. Spicy!
She was hitting on me.
New, the Spicy Chicken Crisp for $1. Heating up the BK value menu.
You're watching 49 ABC, KTKA Topeka.
Well, some of the sights and sounds in this one today. Scores by quarter. K-State 7, 17, and 10. And the Longhorns 7s across the board. Normally would be lucky. It has not been so far. K-State with the 1st and 10 as we open the fourth quarter at the Texas 17-yard line. This is Patton, and he'll spin forward. James Johnson, I beg your pardon. And he'll spin forward down to around the 14-yard line. So much talk in the preseason about the Big 12 North, centered on Missouri and Nebraska. Of course, Nebraska struggled mightily last week against Ball State. Was struggling today against Iowa State. Missouri's been pretty good on offense, or defense struggling a little bit. You have to put Ron Prince and the Kansas State Wildcats in that conversation now as being a legitimate contender in the North to possibly go to the championship game. Cuts it back into the middle and will take it down to the 5-yard line, and it will be 1st and goal, Kansas State. Roy Miller makes the tackle, and Patton is going to limp off the field. Good blocking by the tight ends. Boy, they use all 3 of them. Pushke, Mastrud, and also Allstat. Of course, Ron Prince was given the keys to a pretty good program by Bill Snyder. And Kansas State, the only program in the Big 12 that it has beat Texas back-to-back, other than Oklahoma in the Mack Brown era. Well, penalty is going to be called against K-State, and it's one of the things.
Number 85 on the offense. Penalty's 5 yards, and it's still first down.
One of the things they've stayed away from today. They've been the most penalized team in the country. That's only the 3rd penalty of the game.
2 for Kansas State, and those are the ones that Ron Prince told us drive him the most crazy. He's like, you know, occasionally you're going to get a face mask from Hustle. That's a non-competitive play. We've backed ourselves up from good 1st and goal from the 5, and we didn't even get to play the play.
Tries to bounce it outside, and good open field tackle by Eric Jackson right at the 10-yard line.
Put the ball in your quarterback's hands. You're now at 2nd and goal. He's played flawlessly. 34-21. Make them safe throws. Something like a fade to Nelson. You don't want an interception down here, so don't give him something where he has to throw into a crowd, but maybe get your tight end over the middle and try to dump it to him.
They're going to call a timeout to keep from getting a delay penalty, so we'll take it with 13:05 left in the ball game. Kansas State 34-21, and they're knocking on the door again.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
If you want it, here it is. Come and get it. Make your mind up fast. If you want it, here it is. Come and get it. But you better hurry.
The clock is ticking at the Saturn Time to Buy sale. For 7 short days, get great deals on many 07 and 08 Saturns. Like 1.9% financing plus $1,000 on Aura, Ion, and View. Hurry, on October 1st, time's up. See your local Saturn retailer today.
Fall in love with melty cheese. Taco Bell's new Cheesy Beefy Melt. To get seasoned beef, cool sour cream, melty, and even more glorious melty cheese, think outside the bun.
It's hot. Hot. So hot. The servers are too hot. Save me.
I already have. Got an IBM Blade Center. It's the smartest way to optimize our IT. Runs cooler, saves energy.
The IBM Blade Center and quad-core Intel Xeon processor.
Now the heartburn-stopping strength of Zantac also comes with a refreshing hint of cool mint. New maximum strength Zantac 150 Cool Mint tablets. Heartburn? Attack it. Zantac.
Wednesday at 8/7 Central, the season's most anticipated new series finally arrives. Pushing Daisies is unlike anything you have ever seen on television. Pushing Daisies premieres in only 4 days, Wednesday at 8/7 Central on ABC.
So we are back. 34-21, Kansas State leads. You see how much time we have left in the ball game. And it is a 2nd down and goal, Kansas State. They have it at the Texas 10-yard line. Direct snap to Johnson. Johnson with the keeper on the play. He'll take it down to the 2-yard line. Jackaroo.
You talk about a sense of urgency, guys. Weather radar has shown that there is severe weather on the horizon. So during that break, the stadium staff here informed both coaches and the fans that hail may be on the horizon. Now, here's the deal. According to the referee, as long as there is not lightning, they will continue to play. But how many times this season have we seen games delayed because of bad weather?
Yeah, you're right, Jack. So we'll keep an eye skyward, and we'll let you know. Johnson again takes the snap. Going to put a head down and take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas State.
It's kind of the opposite of last year's game up in Manhattan. Kansas State roared out to a lead, and Texas came back and made it interesting. Now, in the 4th quarter, Kansas State just completely taking over, and that was going to be an option. James Johnson was looking to pitch it and just tucked it up and took it in.
So the extra point is up, and it's good, and we'll hold it right here with 12:23 left in the ball game, and now a 20-point lead by Kansas State. Earlier we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Texas football has 4 national titles. What team in Texas has won the most national championships? And here's the answer.
It was a trick question. It has to be.
No, it's a swimming team. Men's swim team, 9 national championships, and Eddie, I was talking about Eddie Reese, probably one of the least recognized head coaches in this community. 9 national championships. He's been the Olympic coach I don't know how many times, and just a very unassuming, quiet guy that doesn't want to dwell in the spotlight, but he is an extremely good coach. Here's Eddie on the bottom right there. Yeah, right there. Coach Reese, 2002 national champions. Well, we look skyward again. If you did not hear Jackaroot's report, if you had gone out of the room for a bit, there is a possibility of hail coming into the Austin area. And the stadium crew has already put their people around the edge of the field. The crowd has been informed, and there are a lot of people now beginning to head toward the exits, not wanting to take a chance, and with the Longhorns down by 20 points.
I was going to say, I'm not sure it's the weather that's driving them out of the building right now.
Well, that's true. Here's Jared Parker with the kickoff, and he puts this one on the ground. Cosby. Now let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary.
Well, it's become a cliche because it's so true. Turnovers and special teams. First, Ian Campbell makes an interception, takes for a touchdown. Then, of course, the great return by James Johnson. And then Jordy Nelson wanted to get in the act. A missed tackle right at the beginning there, and Nelson takes to the house. Some great running here at the end, setting up Kelson and spinning back to the inside to take it all the way as a Kansas State player is down on about the 20-yard line.
That's Herndon. Courtney Herndon, a sophomore he's from the state of Texas, from Dallas, played at Lincoln High School. Well, 20 points for Kansas State off 4 Texas turnovers, and that's the margin of the lead right now.
Kansas State came into the game number 3 in the NCAA in punt returns at 23.6. They're going to be so clearly number 1 by the end of this game.
McCoy dumps it out in the flat. That's Jamal Charles, and Jamal will take it for a gain of almost 6. That's been a long day for Colt McCoy.
Kansas State comes in with their new 3-4 defense. They can bring people from so many different areas, have more speed on the field, and it's been the tipped passes that have really hurt McCoy. Defensive line for Kansas State doing a nice job of reading his eyes, getting in those passing lanes, and knocking the ball in the air to themselves.
McCoy's pass to Shipley, and he will take it out to the 38-yard line.
We're going to see Texas now in the hurry-up offense. 11:40 to go, roughly, down 20. You're still in this. You need a couple of big plays, maybe try to slip one to Lima Swede down the field. Try to get a quick one.
One of the things, though, that Kansas State has really limited today, and that's big plays. I think 31 yards is the longest play that the Longhorns had. Incomplete. Nate Jones couldn't hold on. Near the conclusion of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund.
Well, there's a lot of Wildcats who deserve to be named the player of the game. Jordy Nelson, I think, would be tops of my list, but Ron Prince has to be so proud of a lot of the individual effort. But a team game, they cut out the penalties, and they've really improved on turnovers. They were awful coming into this game.
Blitz coming off the corner. McCoy gets hit again, and the pass is caught by Swede. Did he catch it in bounds? No. That was Justin Rowland who came in and put a shoulder pad on the quarterback just as the ball was delivered.
It was interesting talking to Colt McCoy. We showed, well, he was out of bounds. We showed earlier, you talked about all the injuries that they had on the offensive line, and we showed the 3 guys who went on to the NFL. He said, Colt said he's seen more blitzes this year than he did all of last year as a freshman. He said you'd expect I'd see more last year, but because of the youth of this offensive line, teams have really been challenging him, and McCoy's been battered around today.
This pass is complete to Nate Jones.
And the crowd not happy because of the short passes. You would think down 20, this crowd wants to see more vertical routes, and they're not getting punting it away, and the coaches from Texas hearing their displeasure.
So the boos subside, and Justin Moore will come in to punt again. Garland was the punter. Second punt for Moore. He got a good boot away, but it also was returned a mile. High hanging spiral. K-State runs away from it and is going to take a Texas bounce and is going to be downed inside the 5-yard line. So let's take a timeout. 10:20 left in our ball game. Kansas State by 20. We'll be right back.
Retirement. It may be a long way off or another adventure waiting just ahead. Pacific Life can help provide income you can enjoy for the rest of your life. Because retirement could be a very long ride. Ask your financial professional about Pacific Life. Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed.
And Gleason recovers a fumble in the end zone. That's his first career touchdown. Wait, is that a Dr. Pepper? Oh, he's going to make the most of this one.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend.
Milking it. Can you believe this? We might be here all night. Is he really going to do this? Look out.
Only Dr. Pepper has 23 flavors packed in one bold taste. For those who make the most of everything.
Introducing the totally redesigned Saturn Vue with 137 standard safety features and a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. It's excessive in all the right places. Rethink excess. Rethink American. Now get a low-mileage lease on a 2008 Vue XE starting at around $219 a month. Call for lease details.
This presentation of college football brought to you by Best Buy. For a complete home theater experience, get HD done right at Best Buy. Dr. Pepper, with 23 flavors in every Dr. Pepper. There's more to it. And Saturn, with 5 new models and 2 new hybrids. Saturn, rethink American.
So some of the faithful that are still here. Texas trailing by 20 points, 41-21, and just over 10 minutes to play in our ball game. Freeman, first down, quick out pass, Nelson incomplete, threw it a little bit low. And let's go down to Jackaroo.
Fellas, I think when the K-State staff breaks this game down, Ron Prince is going to be smiling because, and maybe the seeds for this success were sown on that long road trip out to Auburn University. But Ron Prince has kept his ties in the East Open. He told about the story about him coming from Al Gross-Staff. Well, today I talked to him, and he said, yeah, I heard from Al. And he gave me over the summer a plaque that I look at every day. It says, just coach the team and coach it the way you think it needs to be coached. We've seen that today.
Well, this running play here by Patton, and Patton is going to take it out for a gain of about 6 yards on the play. Brandon Foster from his cornerback spot making the tackle.
And a lot of people, when Ron Prince was hired by Kansas State, of course, replacing a legend, wondered, well, who is Ron Prince? And he is from 20 miles away from Manhattan, Kansas, went to Dodge City Community College, and actually took a trip to Kansas State. He played at Dodge City, ended up at Appalachian State because Bill Snyder didn't want him as an offensive lineman. found his way to James Madison Cornell, and then, of course, is the offensive coordinator under Al Groh. But the Kansas State faithful have to be very happy with this hire.
That pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Thomas Marshall. Big number 94 got a hand up and knocked it down. And so it is 4th down and punting time for K-State.
And one of the guys that Ron Prince reached out to when he took the job, because he was replacing a legend, was Mac Brown. And he asked him his advice of, because Darryl Royal, Coach Royal, is still around the program, how do I deal with it? And he said, you embrace him. And they've redone Coach Snyder's office. He's around all the time.
Cosby on the fair catch, 37 yards on the punt. Reese, Davis, let's check with you again.
All right, Ron, we have the Sports Center Minute powered by Vizio, and what could turn out to be a seismic shift Saturday in college football. Colorado on the Kevin Everhart field goal at the Horn knocks off number 3 Oklahoma. A lot of other top 10 teams also in trouble.
Our situation, well, we were getting some shots here on our program monitor of the head coach and the quarterback, and you would think that Freeman is the one who was down by 20 points. The head coach has really been on him in the last few minutes. Colt McCoy steps up into the pocket, and he will take a shoulder-high shot by Reggie Walker.
Mac Brown didn't think his team was going to look forward to Oklahoma. And I don't want to take anything away from Kansas State. Kansas State has played incredibly well, and if they do end up winning, they deserve to have won this game. But you look at what happened with Oklahoma out at Colorado, and Texas, who at times did not tackle well today, did not play very aggressively, and you wonder if both of these schools were thinking about the Red River rivalry next week in Dallas.
Everybody denies it on coaching staffs of both sides, but it always has been that way. It takes almost 2 weeks away from you every season. Lobs this pass, got a man wide open, and he underthrew it. Incomplete as McKinney was able to get back on the ball of Quan Cosby, trying to run under it, but it was just a tad underthrown. He had to turn around and slow down to get to it.
I did a report earlier before the ball game on ESPN News, and we were talking about who is Texas, because coming into this game, and if that ball was thrown on time, could have been a touchdown to Cosby, but still looking for an identity, and they just haven't found it. They've been inconsistent in their passing game. They just got their full complement of wide receivers back. We're not able to get Jamal Charles established at all today.
3rd down, blitz coming right up the middle. They run McCoy out of the pocket, and the pass, a little confusion between receiver and quarterback. Lima Swede had pulled up and was running like a hot route to run it out, and he threw it long.
And that is exactly what happens when you don't get a lot of practice time today, or together. And Greg Davis felt like that they were going to start to get on the same page, but now as the weather looks like it's starting to roll in, that Jack was telling us about.
Well, it feels like it's getting a lot cooler here as far as the outside temperature very quickly. 4th down, and Texas will go for it from the shotgun formation. McCoy, good protection, swings it out of the backfield. Obanaya makes the catch, and he is tackled at the 45, and listen to the boos from this crowd. Reggie Walker again on the tackle. So let's take a timeout. 41-21, Kansas State. We'll be right back.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
If you want it, here it is, come and get it. Make your mind up fast. If you want it, here it is, come and get it. But you better hurry.
The clock is ticking at the Saturn Time to Buy sale. For 7 short days, get great deals on many 07 and 08 Saturns, like 1.9% financing plus $1,000 on Aura, Ion, and View. Hurry, on October 1st, time's up. See your local Saturn retailer today.
Honey, hey, listen, I'm out here with the guys, and they're really pushing me hard to come back and play another season in New York. What do you think?
Are you kidding?
Just say no. Just say the word no, and I'll stay retired. Just say no, and, I won't do it. Okay, great then. Guys, I'm back. She's so happy, she's speechless.
The network you can trust, AT&T.
Buy any phone and get up to 4 free.
Power tools have evolved. The new lithium Ryobi One Plus tools work at full power twice as long with a battery that fits all your other One Plus tools. Ryobi One Plus. Pro features, affordable prices. You'll find them only at the Home Depot.
Caveman premieres Tuesday, 8/7 Central on ABC.
Time now to take a look at our Best Buy playbook.
Well, it's been a game of returns and special teams and a short, low kick. 4 burnt orange jerseys coming down. They can't get to him. It's a wedge up the hash. And as soon as those guys can't get to him and James Johnson's able to get there, look at all of the white shirts in that double wedge. And those 4 guys that got there on the outside thought they could go make the tackle, but because it was a short and low kick, they weren't able to get over there, and it goes for the touchdown.
So from the 45-yard line after that attempt to go for it on 4th down by Texas, Kansas State again with very good field position. Freeman gets the pass out at the 50-yard line to Lestrade. And the tight end will take it down across midfield, a gain of about 7 yards on the play.
Well, Freeman has been spectacular, but I don't know how much I want to be putting the ball in the air right now. The only way that you feel Texas may be able to do something is some kind of miracle return for a touchdown on a tipped ball or something like that. I mean, that was a very easy throw and not very dangerous, but boy, I'd want to be heating clock and not having that ball in the air very much.
Second down, and it's Johnson. Johnson close to the first down. Well, it's been a tough week in the Big 12. Mike Gundy in his press conference up at Oklahoma State calling out a female reporter. And then Mike Leach in his press conference out of Texas Tech. Got a little out of hand, and then Nebraska fans discussed it. An effort at Ball State. Long time since you've had booze in that stadium, as well as this one right here. So yes. Booze in Lincoln last week, booze in Austin this afternoon. Johnson, he'll have the first down. Good, tough run. They really haven't denied him today.
No.
He's had positive yardage virtually every time he's touched the football.
And it was almost overlooked what Mike Leach in his press conference ripped his entire team, ripped himself, ripped his defense.
And the defensive coordinator stepped down.
Lyle Setensich, who, difficult situation. His wife is dealing with an illness, and he was the guy who gave Mike Leach his very first coaching job. So it's a very touchy situation in Lubbock, Texas.
Leon Patton comes into the ball game at tailback. K-State wanting to do nothing but move the chains and move that clock. Jackaroo.
And Ron, all those Big 12 woes pale in comparison, at least in the conversation here in Austin, over the course of the last couple of days when the San Antonio paper, I believe, is what broke the story that at Texas A&M in College Station, their head coach, Coach Francione, accused of maybe, and I put in capital letters, maybe, giving boosters at a cost of $1,200 per person additional information that is not available to the general public. Kind of an insider's blog. And I'm sure that we're going to be following that over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, one of the main concerns, obviously, you cannot report on injuries, is that play is going to go for a loss, and it's Derek Loki who leads the attack defensively. Obviously, we know that's against the law now. And unless you get the okay from the person who was injured, then you're in a world of hurt.
Well, the administration didn't know about it, which I think is going to hurt Dennis Franchione.
The athletic director didn't know about it.
Yeah, that's a tough thing.
The last thing in the world you want to have happen to you is have an athletic director come to you and say, I mean, they all say the same thing. Keep me in the loop. I don't want to be surprised.
Don't want to get blindsided.
I'm caught totally naked. You know, I don't know how to retort to what is being thrown my direction. Third down. Johnson, they'll give it to him. And Johnson, tough tackle right up the middle. It'll be fourth down.
Well, you tie the Mike Gundy story in the situation where he took up for one of his players, and Mac Brown actually took a poll, an informal poll of his team, and thought, did he do the right thing sticking up for his player? And every person in the room raised their hand. Now you flip over to Dennis Franchione at Texas A&M, and apparently there was some information that was disparaging of some of the players, some very critical analysis. And if I'm one of those players in that locker room, I'm thinking, man, why is he giving away this information? Why is there money being attached to that information being given out? That would be a tough thing for me to swallow as one of his players.
Well, it's fourth down now. Timeout. Oh, delay of game is what they have taken.
Fourth down.
Because the line of scrimmage is at the 46. And Texas is going to take the penalty. Tim Rayer stands back to kick. Juan Cosby is the deep man for the Longhorns. Kansas State leads it by 20. Kick off the side of his foot. Must be something in the water today. Going to be picked up by Cosby at the 15, and he'll run out of bounds. So let's take a timeout. 4:17 left in our ball game. 41-21, Kansas State.
HD?
HD.
Thoughts?
Lots of thoughts. LCD, plasma.
Vivo surround sound, head spinning.
Deep breath. Likes?
Cowboy explosions, touchdown robots.
Cooking, tearjerkers, crime dramas.
Sing-along musicals.
This system, LG Home Theater, perfect fit. Mechanically inclined?
Emergency room inclined.
We install.
We pledge a complete home theater experience and now save $200 off an LG HD TV with installation. That's HD done right at Best Buy.
Introducing the totally redesigned Saturn Vue with 137 standard safety features and a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. It's excessive in all the right places. Rethink excess. Rethink American. Now get a low-mileage lease on a 2008 Vue XE starting at around $219 a month. Call for lease details.
It comes from stadium stares at 5 in the morning. From suicides to your lungs scream uncle. And two-a-days when it's hot enough to fry an egg on your forehead. It's sweat. And there's more to sweat than just water. No wonder no water, no flavored water, no other sports drink on the planet helps put back what sweat takes out better than Gatorade.
Any one of these teams in action makes for an exciting Saturday night. But a night with all three should not be missed. Top-ranked USC marches on Washington. Defending champ Florida looks to avenge its only loss of last year. 8th-ranked Ohio State wants to make its case for another crack at the title. Number 1, number 4, number 8, all in prime time.
Boy, some kind of lineup there. Our situation, we're going to have a surprise right here. Texas a 15.5-point favorite. And they're down by 20. About to go under 4 minutes to play. Childs in the game at quarterback, and he throws a strike to Jermichael Finley. And the crowd is cheering because it's a vertical pass rather than something going to the side. Yeah. And let's go down to Jackaroo.
And Ron, the reason why John Childs is in under center is the fact that the athletic training staff have taken Colt McCoy to the locker room early with 4 minutes and 9 seconds to go in this game. When I queried them as to the reasoning why, they said we want to get a head start on trying to make absolutely certain what the condition of their quarterback is.
Thanks, Jack. Here's a quarterback keeper, and Childs still fighting his way is going to have 8 yards on the play. Rob Jackson, the first man leading the attack for the Wildcats.
We had a pretty healthy respect for Kansas State after that Auburn game. This is a good club. The score a little surprising to me, but the shocker to me in the Big 12 is Colorado beating Oklahoma. We saw Oklahoma against Miami, and of course Miami went on to trounce Texas A&M, so maybe a pretty good team. But for Oklahoma, who at times have looked almost unbeatable to go out there and lose, to me was the big shocker in the Big 12.
Here's Charles. He'll take it down to the 40-yard line. Justin Rowland made the tackle. Well, Saturday stories. Number 3, Oklahoma loses to Colorado. Eberhard, 45-yard game-winning field goal. And that's after Oklahoma had thrown an interception. Number 21, Penn State loses to Illinois. And Notre Dame loses to Purdue 33-19. Incomplete. That ball is, they call it trapped by Nate Jones.
And with all of the things that have been going on at the top, of course, West Virginia last night gets beat by South Florida. Oklahoma goes down today. Cal and Oregon are in a nice tussle out there in Eugene. How many of those coaches tonight, you look at the lineup tonight with USC, Florida, and Ohio State, all teams undefeated, all teams probably good enough to fight through the season and maybe play for it all. How many of those coaches are saying, guys, you've got to stay focused. Anything can happen. USC going to Washington. Yeah, they've lost 2 in a row. They've got a good quarterback. Anything can happen.
Childs delivers a long ball to Lima Swede and almost intercepted by McKinney. Well, let's take a look at Ed's Who's Hot this week in college football.
Well, we saw that Andre Woodson is up for the Player of the Week. He's been lights out. And we talked about Rich Brooks and the great job he's done. And you've got to respect Mike Hart. He went out there, put his neck on the line and said, we're going to beat Notre Dame. And all he has done is become the second leading rusher in the NCAA. And if you have not had a chance, of course, if you're a Texas fan, you know James Laurinaitis very well because of that interception he made here last year. But this young man, he won a national award, the Bronco Nagurski, last year, and he's even improved over that. He's a real fun player to watch.
Here comes a blitz on Childs, I beg your pardon, and he will take it into the line. It's going to be stopped at the 40-yard line. That's Herndon. And here is Ed's Who's Not Hot.
In the new world of spread offenses and fast quarterbacks, the defenses are just taking a pounding. Of course, A&M took a pounding by Miami, and the Black Shirts of Nebraska almost getting beat by Ball State last week. And John Tenuta's group was playing so well at the beginning of the season that they ran in that buzzsaw Matt Ryan at Boston College. So these defenses are really getting tested with the horizontal stretch of these offenses, athletic quarterbacks. It's tough to be a defensive coordinator these days.
Texas goes for it on 4th down, and the pass thrown behind Shipley. So let's go down to Jack Arute. Jack, you got more to add to the list?
Yeah, well, I'd like to lobby for an addition to the Who's Hot list, Ed, and I think it comes off a big win last night. You've got to take a look at the University of South Florida, and the Bulls are for real. You and I and Ron talked about it earlier in the week. I think that this is a team that could contend not only for the Big East, but a BCS berth.
And what is the connection to today's game? Jim Leavitt comes from the Bill Snyder.
Yeah. Sure does.
Yeah.
The tree.
Yeah, the tree of coaches. And if a guy knows how to build a program, it's Bill Snyder, who took what was the worst at the time Division I-A program in college football and turned it into one of the best. And Jim Leavitt took that blueprint down to South Florida, and in 11 years has put that program maybe into the top 10 this week. I think they're going to sneak that high.
Here's a look at that coaching tree we were talking about under Bill Snyder. Brett Bielema, Wisconsin. Phil Bennett. Jim Leavitt down at South Florida. Bob Stoops at Oklahoma. Mike Stoops at Arizona, and of course Mark Mangino at KU.
And the only one really struggling on that list is Mike Stoops right now at Arizona. Phil Bennett's done a nice job in a very difficult circumstance at SMU. You're always going to have to deal with the fact that that program was put on the death penalty back in the 80s, and he's done a nice job there.
They'll keep it on the ground again. And Johnson this time will have it up for the first down. Well, today's Chevrolet players of the game are Jordy Nelson from K-State, 207 total all-purpose yards, 2 touchdowns, and Rashad Fabino, 8 tackles, 6 solo in the ball game. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's General Scholarship Fund.
How about the 2-game total for Jordy Nelson? 26 catches, 325 yards. After 14 for 209 last week, he has 12 for 116 tonight. Wow. You think Freeman's found himself someone he can trust?
Boy, he's the type of guy, being the unassuming individual that he is, and a quiet leader. Couldn't have a better situation for a still young quarterback.
Well, it was interesting talking to Ron Prince, because Jordy Nelson and Josh Freeman are very quiet, humble guys, and they went and got Deion Murphy, and he is the opposite of that, as we saw at the beginning of the game when he said the lineups for the ball game, and it was a little spark that these guys needed. Keeps it loose. Murphy keeps it loose and has some fun. Teases the guys a little bit.
Well, this is I don't know if they'll take them. Well, they take a knee. This one is over. It is going in the record books as a 20-point Kansas State win over the Texas Longhorns right here on the 40 acres. So rather than the tower burning orange tonight, it's going to be dark. And it's a ball game that, Mac has got to look at and say, hey, my friend, this is something that probably shouldn't have happened, but it did. Let's go down to Jackaroo. Jack?
Well, Coach, I want to first congratulate you, but have you compare the win last year in Little Apple to the win today? Which is more satisfying for you?
I think if you can win on the road in college football, that's big, particularly against a team like this, a ranked team on the road. That's something we've been short on here recently, and so I'm really proud of the kids to be able to play this kind of defense. That's pretty special.
When you go back and you look at the first half of the season, how important was that trip to Auburn going to be for the success you're now experiencing?
Well, we thought if we could go into an environment like that and win the game or play real well, we thought it might help us. We still got a lot of football to play, Jack.
Big 12 championship on the horizon, possibly, though?
I can't even think like that. No, not right now. No.
Congratulations, Coach.
So the Kansas State players coming to the north end of the stadium, and they are congratulating their fans and thanking them for making the trip down to Austin, Texas. Once again, our final score, Kansas State 41 and Texas 21. Be sure to join us tonight at ABC for Saturday Night Football. Top-ranked USC takes on Washington at 8 o'clock Eastern. For Ed Cunningham and Jack Arute, I'm Ron Franklin saying so long from Austin. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. 2 in a row for the Wildcats from Manhattan over Texas.
This has been a special presentation.